Listen up, check it. Erule's about to wreck it. No anaphora in my aura burst. I got the works when I freak it. This arm unique with swarms of seeking. Diaphoretic and the energetic. When emotion draws up kinetic. Being combined with the vibe. Not a man to transcribe, though they tried. I draw it down and all in a stew and whole D to rock the whole jam. Jumps through the program. I down a quarter, no man. When I get busy, who is he? My formula rhymes in parallel lines and perfect. Mike's the short circuit. Hawk is worth it. I'm on the brink of blowing up. You'll examine hits however they fall with Mike's in flight. Graphic when I grabs it. Gab with forms of this sort. Words I comport with. No buts, ands, or ifs. Laid on the reel, eventually the scale of bill. I pack a creel of the ram till it's a meal and chill. When I feel like roll like shrubs overdubs. Indulgent buds, maybe 420 team hits on the elements of green. What's the word? Travel on a 6/3. Niggas in mad herb to build upon the scene for the time being. Dips to intervene, God, what's the catch? Knows a gig we can sketch. Got a panoramic view, plus I'm true. Pull no stunts on the crew or you're through. That's a fact, future not flung by the tongue. Talk to what the God brung. Listen up.
Listen up, let me your ear, stop and stare. Listen up, let me your ear, stop and stare. Listen up, let me your ear, stop and stare.
Flip, I'm back in your click, mark my words. See, you never knew you wouldn't post it all if you had heard my skills. Secluded in my unit, it rhymes the flow fluent, manifest my flat land style. Redirect from the west, I flare forming dead chunks to test. Try and press, I evanesce the stress, more or less. Mama, let's my dress. I strive burrows through the fifth when I shift my zone. Got my melodic tone, flows a free course, that mic my resource. So let me go on and check. Live and direct to record technique. I freak, man, that mystique. When I speak, I peak, Erule's unique. Flash well, spark like a super belt. Plastic punks are plastic, I'm drastic. You're like Romana, taking Afro-Donas and on it. No game, retain my name. Here it is, Erule Supreme, I get vision of the scene. That chick wrote, check what I wrote. Big cash responses, no nonsense. Here there is, I'm took a foul mannerism. Swarms getting warm, do the lingo that I give them like that. While your hawk tell my ways, checking for the sound garden, there it is.
Listen up, let me your ear, stop and stare. Listen up, let me your ear, stop and stare. Listen up, let me your ear, stop and stare. Listen up, let me your ear, stop and stare.
Fresh in the mind, a freak thought it right and rhyme. Born and inclined, I'm juking no chimes. Some 90 ill times, I make a killing. Talking willing, got the feeling. All my skill and functions and modulations as I break trends. Meeting ends with my mad malice, my God sins. Got the format, many swore that I wouldn't drop. Now I got props, you heard my trumpy. I never slump, see punks are left back. I'm in like left rack when I kick my toe slick, dressed to fit. Manifesting shit, thought sorts emerge on a hit. You know this foul words you never utter, cause you know the God's butter. Got my shit down pat, so my sound's fat. Blow from the end of the pound tracks, rip it and max. I be aloof to the punk, flowing the gimmicks and acts. I got the formula, I'm on it, the Bobby mad ill. Expedient through the fear you're feeling. Set appealing, greenbacks I'm reeling. Aloof to kids who be stealing. I ain't a fluent, I'll a punk and survive. I'm magnanimous, I grow like cannabis. Never animus when I unfold. Hope the next man don't plan to bust gold. My form is, and the swarm is enormous. The word not born is. Showing no more, we're getting warm is indeed. Walking as I proceed. Erule the wise and prize and more. God, the next level song, and then I'm gone.
Let me your ear, stop and stare. Listen up, let me your ear, stop and stare. Listen up, let me your ear, stop and stare. Listen up, let me your ear, stop and stare. Stop and stare. Stop and stare. Listen. Stop and stare. Listen. Stop and stare. Stop and stare.
straight to sin. Artifacts transcend from beginning to end. Word up, put my niggas in the West District. Put my niggas on the ass. Put my niggas in the block squad place. Word up, once again. Areas of brick, straight to sin. Artifacts transcend from beginning to end.
9-6 batter, the kick splits, mix the batter. Add a comma, drama, honor the dawn scatter. MCs, they on E, peep the steez. Whack niggas ease, left my lyrical status, B's death. F the next, to talk with trash, walking ass. My rep blast ass is fucked up in the business. It's time to bust brothers who be lacking rapping, happy Looney Tunes acting like they should be happening. But no, raw shit for your balance, got the talent. The school rap fools, so say they rule, I can't stand it. But never in the rut, strut, pussy putting up. My style's heated like cooking, I'm hooking those who stuck on one type, right? My soul's dynamite for spite. I'm fighting those crews who broadcast news and bite. Mike, this be MC's jealous of the flow. The super rap bro, do you really wanna
In this profession, ain't no time for second guessing, crews be tested.
No question.
I'm leaving suckers stressing, mad vex, cause I wreck sets and clock checks. House niggas like projects and boo crews who rock next. I know there's bogus MCs who lack focus, won't approach us. They keep it real in small doses. They want us posing for posters, holding up their noses, not knowing that they can't make AG without showbiz. Frontin' for hoes, but ain't got one show the verse. Curse my verse cause it hurts. Rappers survive by selling t-shirts. I put my lifestyle on wax and made a few stacks, but still got this, so my label made they look back. Let similar sounding MCs run routines while I'm stuck in between doing my dream and getting cream. My whole team feeds for ill skills I spill out, but when you rock spots I hear your block yells out sell out. And since I'm running, I'ma run it with intentions. For nondescript nitwits who dissing boy pensions. I'm ending all that dumb shit like Jim Henson. Serve niggas like Benson, preventing crews from representing.
My slick talk be talking, stalking tags and malls, halls in action. Hitting low spots, brothers be jacking, still be maxing. Page after page, stage after stage, engage for snapping, happen to be true to rapping, close caption. Effects from the king of dialect. I inject flow that will blow the whole fucking set. Peep the time check, past due, artifact one, true, tame one, be artifact number 2.
Hey yo, check the data on the rappers that'll touch ya and ring alarms cause we got the bombs like Russia. Monosyllabic habits of rapping sound erratic while our lines wreck minds in distress like wet fabric. Fantastic like four, raw like world wars. I come across like bridge work and plus I hurt your image when I draw. Dips do backflips for these rappers with black lips and action-packed lyrics and hieroglyphics on a half inch.
Peace, chiefs, and dares. It's Bronzebird with another Brownstone Powwow. This episode will be called Pharmaceutical Center. And brief announcement before I begin. I know I didn't do one on Friday. I was going to do one on Saturday, but then I was just like, nah, let me just go ahead and do one on Sunday so it can be mad chill. So, a couple of announcements before I begin. Y'all gonna be surprised. This is the last Brownstone Powwow. Okay? This is the last Brownstone Powwow. Okay, I'm joking. This is not the last Brownstone Powwow. What's going on is I'm just gonna not be doing a Brownstone Powwow only like 2 weeks. We're just going on an intermission. You know what I'm saying? Look, I do. Look, Phoenix always like, no, where you going? I'm playing. Phoenix, I'm just gonna be out for 2 weeks with the Brownstone Powwow. Just out for 2 weeks. It's nothing crazy. Just taking a little vacation or something like that. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's only going on. But like, I'm gonna come back with the Brownstone Powwow. Don't think for 1 second I ain't coming back. I'm gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? So don't get surprised if you don't see Bronzebird around on this panel or any other people's panels. Just taking a break because I'm gonna be on vacation. So that's what it is. Oh, peace, Hilda. What's going on? Nice to see you. But so I just was thinking about something, right? So the reason I call this Pharmaceutical Center, and I was talking about the red pill, black pill. yeah. I'm not going nowhere, Phoenix. You know, I'm just taking a break. But yeah. I'm taking a break. But so I was talking about the red pill, black pill ideology, the blue pill ideology, because I wanted to talk about that today. And I was thinking to myself, I went out to this event this past weekend, right? If you ever been someplace where like you know that your energy is not connected to those people's energies? You know what I'm saying? And it's not necessarily like you think on a red pill, blue pill ideology. It's just like you see it and you just like, I don't float here. Because the way that I think and the way that my mindset is not how y'all mindsets is. And I was like, let me not be judgmental. Because, you know, like their whole entire thing is overt. And I'm usually covert when it comes to certain events. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. But I can explain in detail probably later on. But I wanted to get to the red pill, blue pill ideology because obviously being in the manosphere, and you know, I don't even really think MGTOW even exists anymore like that. I don't hear too much about MGTOW. It's usually just about the manosphere. Whether you're talking about the so-called black manosphere or the so-called white manosphere. And the ideologies do center around just having the idea about what's going on in your world, what is your consciousness, and I probably should have named this the Dimensional Atmosphere Part 4, but it is what it is. But just going over that, I was just thinking to myself, okay, red pill is about awareness, blue pill is about not being aware, being sleep, and you know, the whole entire thing comes into society about being sleep or being quote-unquote woke, in which woke becomes like a term that seems nuanced, seems more like a nuisance depending on who you ask and who you talk to. Because so many people is out here talking about, yo, I'm woke. He's woke. She's woke. And you sit up there and say, just because you use big-ass words and just because you say certain things does not mean you are woke, sir. And just because you know a little bit of history, okay, just because you know certain things that happen in the world or here specifically in America does not mean you are woke. And yes, you have the political affiliations, right? What's popular right now? Feminism, LGBTQ, Black Lives Matter. Those are usually the socialization programs and what they try to use for a person being quote-unquote woke. Right? Listen, I come from a liberal city. I know what it's like living out here. You understand? And the thing about it is the consciousness of people, you know, what do you relate red pill and blue pill when it comes to it? Now, for people who don't understand red pill and blue pill, that is, usually they always say that it comes from the movie The Matrix that came out in 1999 with Keanu Reeves, right? That movie, was it Keanu Reeves? If I'm bugging, just let me know who the correct protagonist is. But you know, Lawrence Fishburne was in it. Lawrence Fishburne was that dude that was sitting in the chair with those tinted glasses. And then He was sitting in the chair with those tinted glasses. He was like, either you take the red pill or you take the blue pill. So, yes, Keanu. Yes, Keanu Reeves. Yeah. So, the thing about it is, what do y'all think about the red pill and blue pill type of thing? More specifically, let's have the conversation on being woke. What does woke mean to you? Does woke mean that you are very aware of political affiliations and things that's happening in your world, whether you're talking New World Order or whether you're talking about the socialization programs that I usually like to talk about on my channel? What is it that y'all understand about what's going on in your world? Blue pill or red pill ideology. Now, the thing about it is, I think I did put in the title, the dating philosophy comes into this as well, because brothers and men start to have an understanding of how women are, right? And I never want to make this channel, or I never want to have the viewpoint that I'm viewing the woman as an enemy, because shit, I'm a heterosexual man. I want to date a woman. So my thing about it is, I understand that when you're living in this society, yes, a lot of laws and a lot of bills is catered towards women, right? They're not really catered towards men. So, you know, you have the child support system and all these other things that go on, and I'm very cognizant of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not married. I've never been in a marriage and stuff like that, but I do understand it. And later on in this YouTube journey, when I come back with the Brownstone Powwow, I'm going to make sure brothers understand what it's like when it comes to these bills of getting married, okay? Because dudes out here talk about, oh, no to marriage. I don't want to be fucked over. But you have to understand the law of the land and understand the law of your state in order to make a very decisive decision. You can't just go out there and say, oh, yeah, well, I'm going to get married. No, read these laws. Read these bills. Read everything they have to offer before you sit up there and say, I do. You understand? So, yeah, like, I want men specifically to understand that. Let me read Phoenix comment real quick. Shout out to Phoenix. Woke to me is a buzzword to get people pissed off and exploit people for money and advertising dollars. Yes, absolutely. Because now the whole entire thing about being woke these days, which to me becomes very annoying, is that you have a lot of these people out here that talk about, yeah, I'm woke. And a lot of these commercials and a lot of these corporations, you know, they make money off of that. They want people to think woke is the new thing. Yes, he's so conscious. She's so conscious. She fought against a so-called white man that was wearing a suit and tie and said, fuck the establishment. That woke shit, like that's why I sit back and I say, I've never, ever like being called woke. You understand? I've never, you know, I understand that I'm conscious. Yes, I'm aware. It's not something to brag about. You know what I'm saying? Because what comes with being someone who's aware and super like sensitive when it comes to what's going on in your world, a lot of people write you off. They think of you as an outsider. So it's not really a popular thing to be woke if you're really, really woke. If you're the woke that a lot of people don't like, if you understand what I'm saying. Because wokeness comes with a different type of persona. You understand? You're seen as like the unfavorable nerd in society when you are the woke and the conscious one. When you are enlightened, okay? When you're illuminated when it comes to how you present yourself and the information that you know. So people out here talk about, oh yeah, I'm woke. Bitch, shut the fuck up. You don't know what woke is. You swear that you're woke, but you ain't woke, fam. You just talking a whole lot of hot shit, man. And like I said before, a lot of people don't understand. It goes back to the nerd philosophy. Nerds are not seen as favorable. And that's why it's like a lot of people try to, you know, try to popularize being a nerd. Like, yes, I'm a nerd. Okay, you know my struggle when I was growing up, when I was dealing with girls and stuff like that. They was like, oh, you're different. And specifically when you come from the so-called black community and you don't fit that mold for being that hood dude or being that pookie, they call you an Oreo. Okay? That's what I had to deal with. And I don't cry over spilled milk. I just didn't really care. I just was a rebel ever since I was young. But the thing about it is, popularizing being a nerd is kind of like, okay, But at the same time, you wouldn't want to get with a nerd. So I mean, what is it that you're talking about? Now, I believe everybody in society should have some type of knowledge. Don't be a dummy. You know what I'm saying? I have to not use this term because I'm a bird. So I can't use the term bird brains because that will go against exactly what I am. You know what I'm saying? You can't use bird brains. Don't be sorry, Phoenix. I actually enjoyed it. I'm not mad at that at all. Like, I was cool with that. I was like, cool. You think I'm a nerd? That's cool. You call me an Oreo, that's cool. I really didn't mind it growing up as a kid. It got annoying a little bit because it's just kind of like, are you serious? You don't even know me, right? You don't even get the chance to experience me and know exactly how I am, right? So yeah, and I want to touch on that as well really quickly. Bird is the word. Peace, ITB. But yeah, Phoenix, yes, because when you're an adolescent or you're in your teenage years, you can't be that Chad. You know what I'm saying? When you're not that Chad, you're like the who's a popular one, popular nerd? Because everybody uses Steve Urkel. I was thinking about Saved by the Bell, Screech. Screech was nerdy. Screech was kind of like disturbing as well too, though. Well, it's different because they don't have a Saved by the Bell now. They did the reunion, but it's different. And Screech's character, the real dude that plays Screech, kind of seems like he's an asshole now. So it's a different thing. You understand what I'm saying? But going back to what I'm saying, a lot of jocks turned into fairies, put in high schools. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I agree. Phoenix always dropping jewels. But the thing about it is, yes, the Chad that's usually seen in high school is the badass, and, you know, he gets all the women, he gets all the girls. All of a sudden, he fades out, and then when he gets older, he probably got a lot of issues. That's the stereotype. They get a little older, and they be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You used to be the man, homie. The fuck happened to you? And the nerd steadily elevates. His nerdish ways works when he gets into his 20s and his 30s. And then you see this billionaire and this millionaire that went against the status quo of what cool is. You understand what I'm saying? So we have an understanding on that. You understand? That's what works. But okay, so I just want to share a couple of things with you guys. Let's see. I'm gonna share a couple of things, as usual. I just want to also open up the panel pretty soon. Just a couple of articles I'm going to go over really quickly to expand my thought process on this whole entire thing. Give me a sec, guys. So people on your screen right now, and it's slang. You know, they're talking about red pill as slang. So slang dictionary, red pill or red pill, it's the same thing. What does red pill mean? Red pill refers to becoming enlightened to the truth about reality, especially a truth that is difficult to accept and exposes disillusions. Online, red pill is especially used among anti-feminist and white supremacist groups to refer to waking up to the truth that women and liberal politics are oppressing men and white people. That's the first one, right? So then, what is it that I wanted to talk about? So now that concept, right? Now when we talk about red pill, does that relate to a conversation we had a while back on another Brownstone Powwow where we was talking about critical race theory? Because in my idea, critical race theory is just manufactured, right? And I'm still going to always rail against that because I don't see the reason for having a critical race theory curriculum in these school systems, okay? Like, it's only pinning specifically so-called black people versus so-called white people. And I mean, the city that I come from, it's only going to rage kids that's in these public school systems and the segregated school systems to kind of just look at so-called white people that let's say like Manhattan is a great instance, right? So the school segregation is really real in New York. So let's take, for instance, Manhattan, they have Upper East Side, Upper West Side, what is it, Yorkville, and a couple of other places. Uptown is where you find so-called black people and Spanish people. So Harlem, East Harlem, Manhattanville, let's see, Sugar Hill, Astor's Row, Washington Heights, Inwood. That's where you find so-called black people and Spanish people living together. And in these school systems, would they make it a plight to put in critical race theory in order for your child to be woke? Because I believe that would be manufactured. That's not genuine conversations about race in America, right? But then, could you expose your child to red pill based off of that? So they have an awareness about racism, about the laws of the land, about what it's like being in America. You know what I'm saying? Because it goes beyond just socialization. It also goes into conversations about the FDA, pharmaceutical companies, and all this other stuff. And now it's more sensitive because we're dealing with COVID and we're dealing with the whole entire thing about the vaccine. So you find a lot of times people go online and they talk about, don't take the vaccine. Don't take it. Don't take the vaccine. They're trying to kill you. You understand what I'm saying? So, man, that's just on my mind for that. I got another article that I want to share with you guys. I'm gonna keep it brief. I'm gonna keep it brief tonight, but I want to share something with you guys too. Hold up. Yeah. All right. So check this out. This was going over what I was talking about earlier, right? So, red pill to black pill. Now, before I begin, I'm still trying to understand black pill, because as far as I'm concerned, black pill just is like you accepted reality and you're not shaking your stance on what you believe. You understand what I'm saying? It's just kind of like, it is what it is. The fight or flight mentality that I get from black pill ideology or people who follow black pill. Maybe I might be wrong, but I just want to make that known. So check this out. Red pill to black pill. The red pill, a term that comes from the 1999 film The Matrix, has become a framework for individuals to describe their awakening to some previously hidden supposed reality. The major contemporary secular male supremacist movements, PUAs, men's rights activists, the red pill, and the men going their own way, MGTOW, all use this terminology to describe their realization that men do not hold systemic power and privilege. Instead, they awaken to the truth that socially, economically, and sexually, men are at the whims of women's and feminist power and desires. As in the film, to be blue pill is to accept the mainstream narrative and choose to live in ignorance of the truths of the world. Red pillars see themselves as intellectually superior to blue pill normies, which would be like, kind of like, whose dick is bigger contest. Like, oh yeah, I'm better than you and all this other stuff. That's usually what some red pill dudes might conjure up. I'm not saying that for everybody who follows the red pill terminology. Okay? I'm not saying that at all. But okay, where am I? The red pill terminology grew in male supremacist forums and was adopted more broadly by far-right and white supremacist groups to describe their own versions of awakening conspiracist worldviews that often overlaps with male supremacist positions such as anti-feminism. Beginning around 2016, misogynist incel forums began to shift from a red pill to an increasing black pill mentality. This belief system accepts the red pill view of society dominated by women, but rejects individual level attempts such as learning game to achieve a sexual relationship with women as misguided, asserting that only change at a societal level has the possibility to be effective. Black pill adherents believe that looks are genetically determined and that women choose sexual partners based solely on physical features, lookism. So whether or not a person will be an incel is predetermined. Misogynist incels attempt to prove the truth of the black pill through misreadings of scientific studies, online dating data sets, and their own experiments to prove that women only care about a man's physical looks. Although some incels still seek out plastic surgery, workout, gym maxing, or try to otherwise improve their physical features, Many believe such strategies are pointless as inceldom is a problem with society, not the individual. Black-pilled incels are aware of appearance and sociability / game strategies and reject them as solutions. The black pill philosophy typically offers only two options for what to do with their new accepted reality: accept their fate as an incel or try to change society to their benefit, usually advocated as potentially achievable by means of mass violence and terror, not politics or other methods of change. Copes are looked down on as methods of coping without changing the unjust system, including denying the reality of the black pill. Hold on, let me see how long this article is. Okay. For those who choose to accept their black-pilled fate, suicide is often presented as the most inevitable solution, which I do not advocate for. It is also encouraged in misogynist incel communities as a form of sacrificial violence and / or martyrdom. Incels talk about potential self-harm, giving up hope, or suicide by using phrases such as rope, committing suicide by hanging oneself, LDAR, lay down and rot, or suicide fuel, it's over, brutal, and it never began, are popular responses to and tags for posts that members feel exemplified the truth of the black pill. Internal polls shared on incels.com, I think it says, have asked members when they think they will rope. In some cases, users explicitly state, "I have to kill myself," or say that they will commit suicide by the time they are a certain age if they are still an incel. While some follow members respond to suicidal comments with sympathy, others urge posters on with harmful comments asking those who have expressed suicidal ideation why they are still posting and have not yet attempted suicide. When active members stop posting for an extended period of time, this frequently leads to form speculation that they have completed suicide. However, the absence could instead represent men withdrawing the online community, and data is not currently available to ascertain what is occurring. Regardless, there is a substantial difference between a community being vulnerable to self-harm and promoting and threatening violence against others. Members expressing suicidal ideation on misogynist incel forums are also encouraged to go ER or be a hero, meaning to commit mass murder before committing suicide. Many misogynist incels don't just advocate for suicide as a solution to inceldom, but also to create structural change through first committing mass violence. As with the Santa Barbara perpetrator, martyrdom is revered. The Toronto van attacker told police he had hoped to commit suicide by cop, which means that he wanted to get killed by a cop. He wanted to get shot by a cop. He wanted to provoke a cop to kill him. A common plan for perpetrators of mass violence. For black pill adherents seeking to change society rather than simply accepting their fate, the use of mass violence to forcibly overthrow the system and force normies to take notice is positioned as a key pathway to structural change. All right, I don't want to spend more time on an article, but I think you guys get where I'm coming from when it comes to this whole entire thing. God damn, why is my joint? All right, I don't see y'all new comments, so just understand that. But that's the idea about black pill, and then it gets into this whole entire thing of incel. This is the reason I even found the manosphere, was because of inceldom, because I didn't understand it. I just thought it was a bunch of dudes that complain that they can't get laid. You know what I mean? That's what I thought it was. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, that wasn't what I was thinking at the time. I was, right? So, I mean, yeah. And it's like, now what I hear a lot of the time is that they have all these pills, right? I don't know these pills. These pills are just random as hell, right? So, They have black pill, red pill, blue pill. Now they have this thing called pink pill, but we all know that's usually crystalline kerosene that talks about blue pill, right? So what does blue pill what does pink pill denote though? Because to me, it's just an advocacy for interracial relationships. And then you have, of course, like I said before, incels, femcells, which dudes on the online forum say that femcells is not a real thing. Like, women can't be incels. And then it's just kind of like, I can understand why you say that, because I'm not going to lie. Certain times I feel like there are women who can be unattractive or can be decent, and they still can get a man. They can still get attention from a man. So to me, it's just kind of weird when I hear women say, I don't hear this often, but they'll say things like, yeah, I'm a femcel. And I'm like, how are you a femcel? Peace, Blue Lion. How are you a femcel? I don't know anybody on the online community that calls himself a femcel. Incel, yes, I hear it. You know what I'm saying? But like, even in real life, I won't hear somebody say, oh yes, I'm an incel. You understand? They'll just sit up there and say, oh, I'm socially awkward. I don't know how to talk to women, or I'm shy, or this, that, and the third. And then we tell you something to that. If you are an incel listening to the Brownstone Powwow, I'm shy too. There's certain women I won't even approach. I'll see a pretty woman, and I'll just be like, I'm gonna sit down and look at my phone while this train is moving. Okay, I'm gonna look up at you for a second, 20 seconds. I'm gonna look down at my shit and wonder what train stop you gonna get off. You understand what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna be like, damn, I should have shot my shot. So that's the whole entire thing on it. But then there's these constraints why incels are incels. Let's talk about it. Looks obviously is one thing, and it's also about heightism. It's this whole entire thing about, men are not desired if they are short. Okay? That would usually consist of maybe dudes from the height of 5'6" on down. Dudes that's like 5'7", 5'8", they won't really encounter the same problem as someone who is 5'6", 5'5", or 5'4". You understand? Now, with that being said, heightism I usually hear from incels, but then there's dudes that might be 5'9", 5'10", and then it's just about how their appearance is. Then also about clothing choices. Women don't want to approach men who seem like they dress nerdy, right? Just the fact of the matter, their whole entire steez is they don't know how to have a productive conversation with a woman, or they'll get nervous, right? So that's the thing that I encounter or I hear from the socially awkward men, the socially awkward crowd, and all these different things. But I guess I can't convince anybody of anything. When I did mentor men, mentor in college, I always try to tell the men for sure, I'm like, you can do anything you put your mind to. When it comes to women, you have a plethora of women that you could choose to be with. You just have to find someone who is of your self-interest and your self-value, And the thing about it is, contrary to belief, a lot of dudes talk about, oh yeah, I'm a nerd. I'm like, do you know how sexy nerdy women are? I like nerdy women. That's just my shit. You know what I'm saying? I like nerdy women. But getting back to what I'm saying, okay, I just can't see y'all comments, so I'm looking at y'all joint while I'm on my phone as well, so I can see what y'all talking about. But that's what I mean. And then, look, I know Blue Lion knows what I'm talking about. Then today you have the options, and me and Phoenix talked about this on the last panel. We was talking about how you had those shorties, you had the dudes that have the sex dolls, that have the sex dolls and all that. And I was trying to understand their psychosis. Like, why did they choose to have that? But then they might say, that might be black pill right there. They might be like, well, I'm tired of the constraints that I have as a man versus women in this society, so I might as well get some type of companionship that does not include an actual woman, an actual human woman that I have to deal with. I'd rather deal with an external type of companionship. Then, of course, when you're talking about companionship, not in a sexual type of way, in a mental type of way, you might start to have the conversations about having pets as a way to replace companionship with a human, right? It's a big rabbit hole when it comes to that. And I swear, I'm gonna do something called Mate Determinate. I'm gonna do another Mate Determinate series when I come back off of this break from the Brownstone Powwow. I also heard from a friend that they use this app that you could talk to an actual robot or make up a whole entire human, like a CGI human figure or something like that, and you could talk to them like they're your friend or they're your boyfriend or girlfriend. That's something I found out. Like you can make a character. It shit look like it's The Sims. Like if whatever you want them to look like, they'll look like, and you can talk to them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy to me that I see shit like that because I'm like, nah, I need to talk to a shorty. I need to talk to a woman. Do I know who's an actual woman? I don't want to be talking to no robot or talking to something that I can make up so I can psychologically start to agree to it. Because then when it comes to those flirty conversations, like I want to blow your back out, how am I going to have a conversation with you when there's no guaranteed sex? Okay? I want you. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be fulfilled talking to a figure or a CGI. You understand? I'm not going to be excited seeing that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Like, that's just how I feel on the whole entire thing. But I just want to pull out something real quick. You feel what I'm saying? Let me pull up another joint real quick. To talk about pink pill, and this is not the crystalline kerosene definition though. This is the other definition they have on board. So that's why I was sitting up there saying like, yo, what the hell does this mean? Because now it's a different thing when you're talking about pink pill. And yes, I did get it from Urban Dictionary because that's the first source that I found when it was talking about pink pill. So check this out. All right, y'all. Okay. So this is what it says right here for pink pill, right? So pink pill says it's an ideology popular within the femcel community, the basics of which promotes the idea of attractiveness being one of the most important things in your life. Your life is predetermined to be unsuccessful and unfulfilling if you happen to be unconventionally attractive or straight up ugly. Basically, the female version of the black pills used by incels. Femcel, just accept you're ugly. It's better being pink pilled and try and improve your looks rather than staying fugly, hoping some moid will notice your personality. And real quick, what the fuck is a moid? A moid? I ain't never heard of that shit. A derogatory word for man? Who says that? Listen, in the manosphere, other online communities, whether you're talking feminists online or you're talking about what else, like divestors, the actual pink pill, or the other women out there, regardless if it's so-called black women or it's other women, you understand? I ain't never heard no woman call a man a moid. I've heard dusty, I've heard all these different things, but a moid? Is that even real? Whoever called somebody a moid? I need to know. If y'all ever heard the term moid, put that in the chat. Cause that is some hilarious shit to me, yo. But that's what pink pill allegedly is supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to be. But okay. Let me calm down. Cause this a moid. What the fuck? Yeah, exactly. Phoenix, I've never heard nobody called a moid. Okay, nobody. I ain't never called. No, I've never heard of that shit. Okay, so remember. Okay, hold on. Let me tell you this, and I want to relate this to kind of like the incel type of thing. Maybe not. Maybe you might peep. Maybe you might not, because this is just related to some shit that I really want to talk about on this stream, right? Because when it comes to the male gaze, I feel like in this society, they're starting to have women who are not actually women, who's a figment of your imagination to fulfill your lust when it comes to relating to women or wanting to have some type of companionship. Now, I want you to take this into perspective. Will the future of your world, men, consist of not dealing with physical women? Will it consist of dealing with CGIs and dealing with women that are online that are characters? right? I just want to show you this real quick. Like, for example, I got to share my screen again, just so y'all can get it. You say, yo, peace, Demetris. But you see this on your screen? Look at this. This is Michaela. This is a CGI. Look at this shit, man. Look. And this shorty has a whole entire YouTube channel. You feel me? But I say that to say, will that be the thirst crunch to men's infatuation with women? But they don't want to deal with actual women. They just want to have some type of companionship with a physical feature. You understand? I'm just trying to make sure y'all understand that. Hold up, I'm loading my shit. Man. Hold up. Y'all can hear it? Hold up.
You still love me right back. Love me right. You still love me right back. Love me right. You still.
What the fuck, son? Wait a minute. I'm trying to get the joint where she speaks. Hold up, give me a second. I'm trying to get look. Fair use, by the way.
Your ears are about to receive all the love.
So peep that. That's what I'm trying to ask though. Like, if men are going to actually fall in love with this instead of falling in love with a real woman, will that be a thirst crunch to incels? You understand?
Fun and feels, because there's so much music on the way. I know I talk a lot about how important music is to me, and I know all my Instagram followers see me hanging out with producers and pulling looks at the studio because I love doing the most. After putting so much of my heart and soul and time and energy into what I'm going with it. I spent so much of last year overthinking myself, what kind of music I was weird, totally cool, and working on being. Part of the blame is mine. I ain't been saying what's on my mind. I felt like I had something really important and powerful, something that I wanted to share with people. So I decided to call that.
Right. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but I think y'all get the gist of what I'm trying to get at. You know what I'm saying? Is that going to work to the benefit of men? Because this is about for the male gaze. Just something I wanted to throw out there. Maybe you might disagree. Maybe it might not be true. But just something I want to put out there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yo. Because I'm like, yo, you all right, Phoenix, this is why, though. The reason I brought up Lil Michaela, because when I first found that shit, I was like, yo, am I being tricked right now? Like, who is this person? Because why is this CGI actually hugging a real person, or real people? And how the fuck is this CGI actually being able to, like, deadass have conversations with people and they looking directly at that thing? You understand? Like, that's the reason why. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the reason I did all that. Okay, so yeah, I'm at the 50-minute mark. I don't really have much to say, but I'm gonna drop the link. Yeah, I'm not being tricked. I know what's up, but like, it's like what we discussed, Phoenix. When they had when you look online at Instagram, when they do the shit for the male gaze, you were saying something like, was it 25% or something like that? Was it 25% or something like that of those Instagram profiles be CGIs? Something like that. I remember you said something like that. But anyway, I'm gonna go on break. I'm gonna drop the link. Whoever wants to come up can come up. I'm gonna play music. So if you don't come on right away, that's only because I'm playing music. I'll be right back. All right? I'm gonna put my joint on.
Talk about the flight that we do. I put up your cookie in my building, ladies. About the put up your cookie in my building, ladies. Soaking my rap. On the mic, I talk about the flight that we do. I put up your cookie in my building, ladies. Soaking my rap. On the mic, I talk about the flight that we do. I put up a fight with everything inside that blocks my life. Label my generation, next marks that rock with
when it get hot, we don't get cookie if I'm milking ladies soaking my rap. On the mic, I talk about the flight that we do. Hype, put up a fight with everything in sight that blocks my light. Label my generation, next monster spot. When it get hot, we don't stop. To plus back, we got
Grammarly can help you write quickly and confidently, so you never have to create your future as a new.
Phoenix, you're live.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, you good.
So I just for a interesting little piece of information, in the private chat, I just put a insider article about the 2019 influencers you should be following on Instagram that are all CGI related.
Yeah, I see. Roddy, you put that article up. I actually seen that article. I read it.
Insane. Yeah.
I actually looked at that article this year. I was like, as soon as I found out about this chick with Lil McKellar, I was like, who the else is they? They got these models. But this is the crazy thing about this joint. So they streamed a storyline with this chick McKellar, right? Mm-hmm. And then what they did is that they created this random fictionalized beef between McKellar and another CGI, and then she's supposed to be in a relationship with another CGI. So,
so they're doing like a Sims, basically like a Sims.
Yeah, they're doing a Sims. They're online.
Yeah. The question I have, and this is something I hasn't figured out with the CGI influencers, is who's like, obviously it's advertised. There has to be some sort of funding for it. I mean, AI technology is really expensive. Yeah. And so I'm trying, like with all of that, it's like, okay, you're talking about like to attract the male gaze, to attract men to certain things, but it's like, who's the funders? Is it for like give them to buy a sex doll? Is it for like subscription service? So you have to log in and pay a certain amount of money to interact with the AI. Like that's where I always come back to is like nothing is for free, right? This isn't for altruistic behavior for the incel community. There is a financial incentive for someone making this technology. And I haven't actually been able to trace back like who's the funders, like follow the money, right? Follow the money.
This is the thing. So the 3G CGIs reportedly, the Lil McKellar character was started by some guy that used to DJ. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I forgot what company it was, because they said the company because I had researched it. So basically it was some company he started working with in some type of entertainment industry. So they came together and they was like, they wanted to do a project. They wanted to develop some type of fictional character, some CGI, mm-hmm. and give them some type of personality and all these different things. But I guess, I don't remember how it went because I'm a little bit fuzzy. I haven't researched the joint since like, I think April. So what happened was something like they had made her into a model. They had, and it was like, my friend had told me like, she's a CGI, but they put on some type of suit or some wild ass shit like that for this character to make it like they use a human to give that CGI some type of personality. So they had the whole entire thing on.
Yeah, they'll have like probably a voice actress to do the monotones. Like now they can still generate like a deep fake. They can actually do all the vocalizations as long as they have the core like vowel sounds and all that stuff. That's where deep fake comes in. they can pretty much do anything, like to simulate fake sound, fake voice. They don't need to have somebody like talking into a camera.
Yeah.
Behind. They can actually, once they have enough of the vocalizations programmed, they can do like a software development project to basically make her talk and interact and all of that stuff. Because they do that like a deep fakes. It's like right now they can take your stream and like as long as they get enough of your voice, they can then apply that and change what you say in real life. Like meaning like put out a video that makes it seem like you said all this stuff and you really didn't. So it's pretty wild how fast that technology is moving.
Yeah, that's Demetris, what's going on, man? I'm gonna say this real quick before you begin. So yeah, I hear you on that, Phoenix. And then what happened was, what I saw was that literally you have the CGI modeling clothes for H&M
so they're using it for retail, so actual branding.
Yeah, I've seen retail.
That's how they're funding it then. So instead,
but she also does music too, though.
Yeah.
So now that you could stream her music actually online. You know what I'm saying?
So that's the advertising dollar. They're not going to use a real person. They'll use because I mean this Bermuda lady that's in that other Insider, she's basically eating 3 Big Macs and a Diet Coke, right? Mm-hmm. But here's the thing, like that's another big issue. Like when you're talking about men and influencing men, well, if a real woman does that shit, she's going to gain 50 pounds, right? If I'm sitting there I mean, like literally, if you look at that article that I just posted, like you see this woman eating 15 donuts, 6 sandwiches, a Big Mac, sushi, and a drink. Last time I checked, that is not a plausible option for a woman that is that thin.
Yeah, then you getting all those carbohydrates in and you don't gain no weight, like you stay the same. That's some BS.
Yeah, but if you're young and you think that that's real, and then suddenly you take a real girl out, and then she starts acting that same way and gains 20 pounds, are you going to break up with her? See what I mean? It's little shit like that I think of, or it's always questions I ask. Like okay,
but it's questions I would ask too. Yeah. It just seems crazy. Demetris, what's going on, man? Goten, aka Eric, what's going on, man? Y'all got the phone.
Not much. Chilling like a feeling.
All right. Demetris, what's going on with you, kid?
I had to change my name for this.
You did?
Calamity mode activated.
That sound like you going out for war, yo.
you ever heard of the Death Flower in anime? When person just goes berserk.
Yeah.
I
haven't heard that. But it sounds crazy. But yeah, so I want to get a perspective too. It's great that there's a woman on the panel because I was listening to this femcel shit and I'm like, what the hell is a femcel? So I just want to know like y'all thoughts on like inceldom, the red pill, blue pill ideology. What y'all think on that? Demetris first and then Goten.
Sure.
You got it.
So, the way that I think about it is there is a specific challenge here that people need to learn how to overcome. And while I can understand some of what these people are coming from, at the end of the day, are you going to let a handful of bad experiences define your experiences with women or men? That's just another challenge for you to overcome. But you cannot let that define the other gender/sex for you. So with dudes, there's a problem with they feel as though there's a problem with the way women conduct themselves and stuff. And to an extent I can understand, but the great thing about Mother Earth is, she has produced a lot of beings, human beings of different characters. So just go find the people that you rock with.
I'm into that.
Agreed.
I'm into that.
I agree to that.
Yeah.
Eric.
Well, all I have to say is it's like they came from women
which is their moms. Why they keep sitting on every panel they be on and bashing women like y'all not satisfied? So if you're not satisfied with a woman, you satisfied with a dude? Like, whoa, this is what's going on. Like in the industry, for example, like what had happened to these incels? They've been abused by women physically, mentally, emotionally, sexually, and they take that frustration out on a woman. It could be family, it could be a spouse, it could be a daughter, it could be a mother, it could be a granddaughter, it could be a sister, it could be a female cousin, it could be an auntie. And it's so sad and it's pathetic how they sit there and start degrading them in the wrong way, especially black men towards, black women. Like, it's like when you try to tell them, it's like they don't want to hear it. Like, people used to tell me, and I never complain, I never bitch and moan. Never, ever, It's like they really, really have this problem. Like, this is why you see so many gay men and stuff. They get that is normal, which is not normal. You know, like they okay with it. Like you supposed to talk to like you supposed to talk to the sons. Like if I had sons, I would teach them the right way. I would teach them, hey, don't degrade black women and stuff. Because I used to admit that I said women are overrated, and I was wrong for that. My brother had brought that up. Did you tell me about women being girls being overrated and stuff? Like, yeah. And I was freaking like, oh shoot, what have I done? What made me say that out of my mouth? Is it because I'm dealing with the females in the family? That's true. The way I'm being treated and how I get emotionally in a phobo way and how I feel some type of way of it. Like, whoa, this is kind of like a red flag. Like it's okay, but it's okay. Oh, that you have problems with women, but you don't. But it's okay that you don't have problems being gay. That's kind of odd. That's really it. It's like if you paint the flag purple, it's supposed to be red. Like, why you want to paint the flag purple? And how do you don't have why you have a problem with the color red, but you don't have a problem with the color purple? But if you want to paint outside the flag white and you have a problem, you want to paint it yellow. So you want to make it like the Laker colors. And also the the what was it, the alpha omega colors? Like you really have an issue with the red and white. But you don't have the issue with the navy that's it with the white stars. It's like this is difficult at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. I'm hearing exactly what you're saying, but I wanted to touch on something you said earlier. I think I did say this in one of my streams, the mate determinant one. where specifically when you're talking about men, right? There's a lot that goes into this because I said, for one, it is socialization that comes into this concept now of men seeking these other options beyond the binary man and woman, right? I said
Right.
before in another stream that men are starting to adhere to just if a figure is feminine. So their whole entire thing is, as long as if the person that I want to bone or have a serious relationship has some type of feminine quality, that's what I'll deal with. But now it starts to become weird because now they'll try to mix in that and say they are not such and such sexuality based upon that. But now going to the incel thing, it's difficult because there's many roads you can take with the whole entire incel thing. On the one hand, it's the being socially awkward seeds, or they've never really talked to women, or they've never really been able to have a productive conversation with women because they felt like they were shot down. So now it's like, well, I don't want to
Right.
deal with these women or this, that, and third. But then it's a catch-22 because what I really think these incels is usually saying is, I can't get the 8s to 10s. I can't get the attractive ass women, the quote unquote bad bitches. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
My eyes is not on the everyday.
Right.
My eyes is not on the everyday woman. You know what I'm saying? And that's why.
Yeah, Bronzebird, I wanted you, like your last video that you made, I think is really important because a lot of incels have female friends. Okay,
Wait,
they do
what
have
last video I
women
did?
in their life, but
Wait,
what is
Phoenix,
it?
Phoenix, wait, what last video?
The video you made about like I can't remember the title, but it was talking about like be okay sometimes going for a 6, like be okay, like not just
You talking about Look Beyond the Looks Part 3?
right, but
Yeah.
that applies here because
Yeah.
you see this sometimes with incel men. They will have strong, like potentially really strong female friendships with women that may also be a little socially awkward, may not be the hottest woman in the room, may be fat, maybe have some weight problems, may have some self-esteem issues, but they don't see them as sexual partners because they are being influenced a lot by other men about, hey, shoot for the 9 or 10. And they're also being influenced by media and advertising and all these kind of other social influences that we just showed with robots. And I mean, like, look at the woman you just showed. She's a very particular type of woman, right? Like modeling a woman. Obviously not a woman, she's CGI. But I will say, like, she is presenting the beauty standard of the current culture, right? And that's kind of the challenge that I think with incels is there's an expectation versus reality disappointment. And sometimes instead of when they do shoot high, you were talking about like in the chat, like, look at me, I got hurt by a woman. But here's the other thing is that like sometimes that, not all the time, but sometimes they're not looking at themselves either. Like during what they were trying to do, they might be ignoring all the women around them that are actually potential good mates, good dating partners, but they don't meet the looks, status, or physical expectations that incel thinks that they deserve. Because we're talking about entitlement here, right?
Yes.
And after so much time passes, it's kind of like riding a bike. You might think that you know how to do it, but if you don't do it for a long time, you're going to get rusty. And then you might age yourself out. Now you have another set of expectations. And I think the incel community deserves to be heard, but they also have to take some accountability of what actions they've done. And are they setting realistic expectations for themselves in relationship to where they are in their own life as well?
Well, when you just spoke, it made me think of a term in which I'm not trying to diss them, but at the same time, it does seem like they develop this type of mentality or behavior, like the whole entire beta defeatist type of mindset, like just a beta male type of mindset. And this is not to insult them, but just the fact of the matter that we know that you will usually get criticized or receive much scrutiny if you complain a lot as a man. You understand? So the thing about it is with the incel community, it might be strong men who have very, they can be outspoken or they can speak however they want to speak. But then that's why it's a lot of flack in their community because it's just like, oh, you out here complaining about women? Oh, you don't get no pussy, bro? You can't talk to women? And it's like, that's why I had to chill, because I was like, I want to still hear their story.
Yeah.
Because it's actually a woman that I was dealing with that showed me this incel shit. And I was just like, I don't know nothing about this stuff. Like, what you talking about? But I'm saying that to say, like, yeah, the whole entire beta program comes into this with these men. And it's like, you know, if you tell them, like, when I make Look Beyond the Looks Part 3, it's to try to exploit the idea. Stop focusing on the looks as a primary function. You gotta look at the woman's persona, and this is why I say the rating system can be flawed, because everybody has their own rating system. It's just like I said on another
you
panel.
Consider a 6, I could consider a 2, right? You know,
right.
You don't know what I like. Well, you just talked about height. My dad's 5'3". My mother loves short men. I'm 5'9". I have no idea how it happened. My mom's 5'7". But like my mom really liked he was short, stocky. He was a rower. He was a pianist. He's a musician, and his height wasn't an issue. Why? Because my dad had a whole bunch of other fucking qualities. He was a hard worker. He was industrious. He was kind. And that's where, when maybe it's the superficial world we live in today, but if we look at a lot of our parents' age, the boomer generations, the 70s, you see a lot of ugly people, guys. A lot of quote unquote ugly people in the Just look at the styles. Look at the guy with the porno mustache and the curls.
Like Ron Jeremy or something like that. Yeah,
but he was getting a lot of pussy. You don't want to know why? Yeah. He was a musician making real music. He had, he had style. He had buddies. There's a lot of chemistry. There's more there. And now we're just boiling everything down to what a surgeon can give you if you have enough money. And I just don't think that's going to be enough.
I agree.
It might be for an 18-year-old, but not necessarily for an older, more mature individual.
And it's ironic you say that, Phoenix, because when you look at the stuff that happened in the 70s, you got dudes just like with full-on like afros like on their chest and have the whole happy trail.
My dad wore to his wedding. He wore a baby blue tuxedo and platform fucking shoes. I mean, it was the most hideous thing ever. But to my mother, it was like, oh my God, this is the sexiest man on the earth.
Sexy man.
Yeah, because it's all bullshit, meaning it's all cultural. And that's what I'm getting. Like in the 60s, you had Twiggy, and now you have Kim Kardashian. That's what we're talking about. Like, even in like
Janis Joplin in like the
and even 60s. Men, like back then, long hair, or like you said, big afros, depending on race or whatever context. But my point is like that some of these things can be adjusted. Like beauty can be like adjusted sometimes, just based on the culture that you live in. And we make things very generic. And I think the incel community has a challenge with that as well. That's what I said. Like if you ask a lot of incels, like, do you have women friends? They'll say, yeah. But the first thing they'll say is, well, I'm just not interested in them. So it's like, no, it's not that you can't get women. You just potentially have a very high standard and think that you're at the level that you deserve it.
And then let me say this, because you're absolutely right, Phoenix. And this is why I think certain dudes miss the mark, right? Because my thing is, it's been said by another woman that I hear constantly, which I believe is starting to be true, that attractive women, or the quote-unquote bad bitches, they usually are not really hollered at the most, right? They usually...
The intimidation in the model. When I lived in Miami, some of the complaints that I got from like the women that had been hyper surgically altered, because a lot of the beauty models, anyone you see as a supermodel has had some work done. I mean, that's just,
wow.
Oh yeah.
Supermodel.
I mean, even those, they're going to have at least some tweaks or some, even if it's just like Botox, lip injection, a little bit of filler, a little bit of microderm, it's amazing the shit that's out there, guys. It's just Google plastic surgery of today. But the point of the matter is there's an intimidation factor, but also like that expectation that they're supposed to be superficial, that they have to also meet, like they have to want money. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if people are individuals, you can meet people like that. But you can also meet really awesome people that come in a variety of shapes and sizes. And remember, you could be ugly as an 18-year-old and be some badass motherfucker at 30, especially men. I find men can be nerdy and kind of scrawny in their like teens to 20s, but man, they hit their like 20, that testosterone boost at like 25. And you can see 40 guys. Like, look at that Ninja Warrior shit. Some of these guys are 40 years old and they look better than they ever did at 20. They're not hitting an age wall. So again, it's very individualistic, but we want to generalize it because it's easy like that.
Yeah, like you hit it on the nail. You hit it on the head. And I was just gonna say this real quick, that a lot of dudes like the bad bitches, whatever. Like, cause I'm like I said before in this stream, I said I can be shy sometimes, and I have no problem admitting that. It's just that sometimes you can just have this outright like I was like me talking to a pretty woman the other day. I wasn't even trying to holler at her. I just wanted to have a conversation. Just talk to her about something, right? And the thing about it is, yes, it's the intimidation factor, but I just think that what's wrong with certain men. I got you. What's wrong with certain men is that average women be looking bad as fuck. Like, a lot of dudes don't take that into account. Like, it be average girls I be seeing, and I just be like, yeah, I'll definitely talk to her. She's not. She doesn't have to be the baddest bitch in the room.
And also remember, makeup tricks and really nice fashion and good lighting and like I said, what you see online is very much constructed. So if you get used to seeing these images or these types of you forget what real people look like, and that's kind of what I mean. There's nothing worse than, I was talking about smiles. There's nothing worse than a really, really attractive physical person that scowls all the time. Like, it's little things like that. It's like. Attractiveness is more than just one dimension, even though in the online space we make it one-dimensional. And the amount of work,
it's like it becomes it gets exploited too much, and then becomes like a hyperbole.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I do a lot of body
exaggeration,
and I do a lot of mockery on myself. Like, people look at my channel like, I can't believe you posted that. I'm like, yeah, because I'm literally mocking. It's a form of like body sensitivity. Like, they're bodies, people. It's not that big a deal. You know,
I ain't gonna lie, Phoenix.
What?
I was like, damn.
Most people do not know, but I take care of myself. You know, my husband.
That's good.
But to some men, I'm really skinny. Some men absolutely hate my figure. They think look like a man, and I always laugh about that. I'm like, no. The people you're talking about that are trans are men that want to look like women. They want to look like women. So stop telling me I look like a man and start saying that the trans women want to look like me.
Yeah, exactly. They want to emulate women like you, and I gotta say this. I don't understand why they call you skinny. It seems like you have a slender shape. So
that's what I'm thinking about beauty perceptions. Like, nowadays, there are like I said, every group. Now, you are in New York, so I think you have you and I have probably a similar background to like beauty standards, because I'm from that northeastern area and Midwest area as well. Mm-hmm. But like in LA and California, it's like different locations will have different beauty expectations as well. It's just very common. You know, if you go to LA and you don't have plastic surgery, if you go to Miami and you don't look like your face is kind of stuck in a pool noodle, you may get judged for that. That's what I'm saying. It's just it's what you see every day.
Right.
You know? And you probably, in New York, you see a lot of variety. So you're probably conditioned to variety.
Yeah.
To be honest, if you're in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and you're around nothing but people that are from kind of Appalachia, most likely that your 10 in Appalachia in New York is going to be a 2. I mean,
a 2.
Not to be mean to people in Appalachia.
No, it's going to be true.
But it's just the beauty. Like, what is the definition of femininity in a rustic country town versus the definition of femininity in fucking downtown LA?
Well, it seems as if when you say it, right, it seems as if it's going to be more like, oh, you can hear me? Because my drink just...
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
I
was going to say that when it comes to that, when they talk about the feminine woman or what feminine means, it's kind of like they play on the whole entire nostalgia narrative. Like, oh, this is how women were, say, the 40s and the 50s, so they should be like this now in 2021.
Yeah, only the 50s. Though, if you go back to the 40s, if you look up women in the 40s, there was a fitness craze, a strength conditioning fitness craze for women in the 40s. I have to find the video. It's fascinating because I didn't know this, but it was kind of aligned with the World War II, like Rosies and women getting it done and working in the factories. And you had a whole beauty standard of women in the 40s that were strong women. They were thick, meaning they actually worked out. And then in the 50s, you had a little bit of that post-regression, what we call like the build out of suburbia. And women became softer, kitchen-focused, all about beauty and what we consider now kind of the pin-up model look.
Yes.
But if you go back to the 40s, it was actually almost like a fitness era for women. So again, it just depends on what you're exposed to. It's really wild.
Okay, so I'm I'm gonna prefix that because it's actually good that you say that because that's gonna be a future powwow that I'm going to expand on. I just want to get the thoughts from the men real quick.
Oh yeah, I'll shut up. Sorry guys.
No.
You're good.
It's good that you said that because I wanted that provoke my mind on this conversation as well. But I just want to get questions from the men based off what you said. So now, Eric and Demetris. So you know that now you have women that work out, women that they go to the gym a lot and all this other stuff. Is there a limitation on a woman who looks feminine still, but can have muscles and let's say a six-pack? Is there a limitation? Is there a cutoff for you guys when it comes to women that's in the fitness? That don't look overly almost masculine. You understand what I'm saying?
You understand? I mean, well, me. I mean, she's still beautiful, even though she got some femininity. There's no limitations.
There's no limitations?
Nah,
You're talking about unadulterated women, though, Bronzebird, right? Like, meaning they're not taking steroids. They're still women that work out in the natural way, just to clarify that, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
and I'll tell you why.
Like China or WWE, then you have women that obviously are doping up.
Right.
And that's not going to look like a woman anymore, just like a man that takes estrogen, he's going to start looking like a female.
Because this is why I say it, though. Like, okay, so I was watching this video, right? And I was watching this woman, right? This woman from, I think she was from Florida, too. And I was watching the video and I was looking at her and I was just like, a lot of people accuse her of taking steroids. She says she doesn't take steroids. She works out just like everybody else. And she has that whole entire just big frame and that big I worked out so much. My legs is too muscular. My arms is very compacted and all this other stuff. And you like, damn, if this chick was to have sex with me, I sit up there and throw in a towel within 2 minutes. I can't have you. I can't even play with you because you're gonna grab me by my neck while we kissing. Like that's what I mean. It's like there's. I have to say there is a limit now.
Yes.
Like it's certain ways I can't.
Exactly.
That's
what I was about to say. Yeah. There is a limit. Like I mean, women like Roxy Beckles is proof that you can work out and still look good. But like obviously there's a cap to it.
Yeah, I think you still have to have, like I said, like if you start to do, because I had abs when I was like doing keto and stuff, but I didn't do any like big strength training because I knew like I didn't want to have striations like a man, right? That's the striations. I don't want my chest to start having pectoral muscles and shit. Yeah, that's fake.
Whoa.
Like this, I can't.
No, but that's definitely steroided. Okay, you can tell but women can't. Natural women cannot. Okay, look at the woman. Yeah, that is steroids. She's doing
I know some of them.
That's not, but that woman is amazing. She's 84, so give her credit.
I think I know her. I think I work with her on Facebook.
Yeah,
like, it's a cap, yo. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's a cap. Like
if you go to figure, okay, so instead of women bodybuilders, put in women figure competition. Because figure is natural, meaning they're not allowed to basic figure competitions, and see what those look like. Because those are going to be more aligned to women that are fit but natural.
See, and what you're saying, Phoenix, I can deal with women like this.
That's what I would like. My physique, if I worked out hard enough in my 20s, which I worked out a lot in my 20s, but if I went to my extreme, like even that. Now, here's the other thing, guys. When you're looking at these pictures, you're seeing women that also are doing bodybuilding style fit food. So that means when you're looking at these women, they haven't eaten or drank anything in 3 days. So that everything sucks up against their muscles. So they'll like gain 10 pounds the minute they eat. So don't look at this as like a full reality because what they're showing is for an actual competition. But if you like go to any of these women on the off season, they're going to be fairly pretty. Like they're probably going to be like a little bit thicker and they're going to have more rolls compared to what they do in this particular.
Why? But you know what's crazy about this? Why is it usually that you get these women that look like that? I don't know. It seems like they titties shrink.
Well, that's because titties are made of fat, sweetie. Right. It's fat. That's the contradiction that women deal with every single day. And that's the manosphere issue, or not manosphere, the incel, let's say incel. they want a woman that has fake breasts, okay? Like if they want to be skinny, like if they're into super skinny women, very few, I'm talking like 1% maybe, have large breast sizes, large ass sizes with a 23-inch waist. It's not a plausible female anatomy.
Okay.
Yeah, does that even supermodels? Like when you look at the tall Naomi Campbell's, some of them still have, or not her, but like they still may have breast implants, but they may have a B-sized breast implants to make it look natural.
And that's ironic you say that, because I remember I was speaking with this African girl that told me she modeled. She's been in Fashion Week. And I remember talking, because she's skinny, right? She's skinny. She's about 6'1", 6'2", without a shadow of a doubt. She's between
6'1".
Yeah, she's
okay, wait.
Let me
see. She's about 5'10". Because when I remember, she's about 5'10" to about 6'1" without a shadow of a doubt. I know she's not 5'9". So she's about 5'10", 5'11" to 6'1", right? Mm-hmm. So the thing about it is she's already skinny, right? But she's attractive as fuck, dark skin and all that.
Yeah.
So I remember speaking to her, and she was like, "Oh, I gotta lose 10 to 15 pounds, 5 to 15 pounds."
Yeah.
And I'm sitting up there looking at her like, "Why the hell you need to lose more weight if you're already skinny?"
Well, if she's in modeling, it's because of the way the clothes have to fit her. So I actually made a video of this a while back, like a mock video. I take a lot of my mock videos down because it's just like whatever. But I made a mock video about this, of the whole idea around like the way fashion models work. Like if she's into fashion, the way that designers make it, they basically make models like coat hangers, right? So that the clothing and the fabric looks really good on a flat body, so they can pad it and they can make the clothes look right. So if she's into fashion modeling, her body has to be kind of flat. And that's the whole point. She's got to get skinnier and skinnier so that it's about the clothing and not the woman.
See, and then what happened was...
But it's to your point, Bronzebird, influences the way women feel about, like, how they have to actually unhealthily put their bodies into positions, right?
Because that's crazy to me, Phoenix, because I was just sitting up there looking at her, I'm like, you're already attractive, you're skinny, because I don't mind skinny women or petite women. You know what I'm saying? A lot of dudes may overlook it, and you know I'm actually very fair when it comes to women's sizes. I'm very fair. You just can't be overly obese or be like Eugenia Cooney when it comes to standards. Y'all know who Eugenia Cooney is, right? So. Right? Yeah, you can't be like Eugenia Cooney. You got to be eating something. You understand?
Yeah.
So my thing about it is when I was speaking to her, I was like, "What the hell is going on?" And she was kind of like giggling. I'm like, "This shit ain't funny though," because I'm like, "You got to maintain how you look."
Well, and they lose, a lot of these models will lose their periods, they'll lose fertility, like because of the fact that they're ultra skinny. And like, so I did keto, I did a test, and I got down to like 126, 125 pounds, and I looked rail thin. I was really thin, and I didn't like it. I actually allowed myself to get to what you see now. The videos on my channel is what I look like in the last week, sometimes in the last 24 hours. But it's interesting, the mind, the brainwashing on women just as much as there's brainwashing on men as well. Women are actually conditioned as women for each other to be really skinny. Like that's where anorexia comes from. That's where bulimia comes from. And I think there's a misalignment between what men actually like versus what women think men like.
Right.
Do you get what I mean? Like sometimes women think, oh my God, this man wants me like that, like looking like that. And then later you find out he didn't like you that skinny. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's interesting. Interesting perspective.
I was going to say this as well, Phoenix. Just the fact of the matter that there was this woman, another African supermodel that I had seen on, I think, Instagram. And I remember, or BuzzFeed or something like that. And they just had this whole entire thing, or Truth. I think it's some channel called Truth or As Is. And she had this whole, she was crying in the video. She was just mad. She was like, yo, I'm in the modeling industry and these people treat me like shit. I have to sit up there and lose 25 pounds every week, something like that. And I was just like,
her story.
Damn, like it's really serious out here when it comes to this modeling shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's highly competitive too. Think about it, right? It's competitive as hell. Though I will say this, most men and women's fashion looks fucking weird as shit. Like I don't like, actually there's I'm gonna post this in the private chat. If you go into some of these photos, So Men's Fashion Week in Paris just went through. I do love fashion. I'm gonna not
You
lie.
can share the screen if you like too.
I don't. I'm on a Mac that's kind of temperamental, so I just posted it. If you want to go in Bronzebird and navigate, because
Yeah, let me check it out. Yeah,
for sure. But like you look at this, and these men's fashion is now becoming hyper feminine. It's almost like women's dresses and like it's weird. Yeah, if you go into
it is.
Bro, a dude with a purse,
and it's freaking me out a little bit. Like I'm like, why are men in Fashion Week wearing skirts? Like in the sense of some of these outfits, I'm just like, I don't get it. Like,
and you know what it is?
Look at that outfit right there. What the fuck?
Dude, like, what the fuck is
And
this?
as a woman, that's what I'm getting at. If I see a man like that, I'm going to say homosexual, or I'm going to say not what I'm wanting to look at. Like, I'm going to be honest.
But Phoenix, you remember when the whole entire thing with the what's that goddamn shit that women usually wear? I remember like 2-3 years.
Rompers? Are you talking about the rompers?
The male rompers. And let me tell you about that. When that whole fiasco began, right? I didn't really see dudes around New York wear that. But I remember just one time, I remember I never forget this. This was September. I was on a downtown C train. And I was just chilling, minding my own business, listening to my music. Next thing you know, you have this scrawny little dude. I can swear, he had to be about like 5'4", 5'5", and he had glasses. He came on a train with that romper on.
Oh no!
And I was sitting up there like, is this dude serious? Like they like for real have a romper on, a male romper. So Phoenix, just to say that shit, like. It's getting crazy out here because when I see the fashion links of like how men dress, I'm like, I can't agree with this shit. And now you have the whole thing where dudes just straight up like, now they have a redefinition for it. They have femboys.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm getting at is it's like you were talking about incels and you're talking about the black pill and you're talking about all this, but you're layering all of this branding, like all of these images that we're kind of expecting, and it's confusing people. It's like, whatever happened to a nice 3-piece suit on a man, or even a nice pair of like shorts that look good and a shirt that looks clean, but he's got style. That's what I mean. Like these outfits are they're hybrid women outfits, meaning they're women's outfits from the 90s that have been repurposed to men's outfits in the current state. And I get that there's concept in fashion, but look at this guy. Okay, this guy to me screams a woman. It screams a high fashion powered woman in business, not a man. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but other men on the panel, you tell me, if you see this person right here, do you see a man or do you see a woman? Because I see a woman.
Demetris, Eric?
I mean, what I see is a confused person, or confusing person. That's what I see.
Oops. What I see is like, this is some Illuminati shit. That's what I see.
I don't even know what that means.
I'm talking about the secret society, because they are part of that.
But Eric, in all fairness, it's you. I hate. Look, to be honest with you, bro. I sometimes I don't like when people say that, because it's just like people not to say it in an offensive way, but not to say that I'm offended by it, but I'm just saying like when people just throw out Illuminati, that's just a blanket term, right?
Okay.
The thing about it is like when we're talking about this, can we say it's a part of socialization? Absolutely.
Yeah, but socialization, exactly.
Socialization.
Yeah, but that's why I don't really want to say, oh yeah, it's just Illuminati. Like, nah, like it's socialization. You understand? Because the thing about it is, if this was the 90s, they would consider this guy a queer, right? And the thing about it is, to your point, Phoenix, I do see a lot of 90s influence coming back tenfold with a lot of these fashions.
Yeah, but now these were women's fashions. They were women's fashions, and now they're suddenly men's fashions. And I'm
check this out, Phoenix. But this is what they do now too. They'll do the baggy jeans look, right? Whatever shoe, because you know that how they have those Balenciagas and they have the
Balenciagas, exactly.
Them joints that look like moon shoes. But then they also do the tank tops with having a joint cut off at the navel. And these are men rocking this shit. Yeah, and then you know with men, when they have the short haircuts, they'll color their hair pink, baby blue, blonde. You understand? That is stuff would type of happen, and this is all the stuff they have as fashion, and these would be heterosexual men. So
yeah, here's a crop.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you were talking about the crop. Is it called crop tops? Right, crop tops.
Yeah,
I call them
crop
halter tops. Let me
Yeah.
see if I can paste this one. This is. I think the image will just come through. It's a slideshow, but it's just.
This
I think
one
it's
right
just-
here. This one right here reminds me of the '60s. Like this.
That's
looks like
British.
dudes
Now
like
that
the
yeah, that
Beatles.
reminds me of the Beatles. I was literally
Yeah.
going to say that. I was like, that's Beatles. Yeah,
That's Beatles. See, this isn't too bad.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is also British.
That's Jehovah Witness.
That is
Mhm.
Witness. See, Matt, this is what I'm talking about right here.
Look,
This
he's got
right here.
leggings on with a 1980s windbreaker. That's what I mean.
In Phoenix, this is how disturbing it is. Walking around in New York, right? You have these dudes that starting to wear this gym wear. They have leggings like what he's wearing now, but they'll literally come outside with leggings on as gym wear, and no lie, no homo, like no disturbance.
No
you can
homo,
see their
bro.
jank.
You see, that's a problem to me. Yeah, that's a problem.
They're wearing it. They're wearing it in like fuchsia, bright orange, and all this other stuff. And they'll be running around with that stuff on. They'll have Asics sneakers, but that's just the point of how crazy that is.
Yeah, but
Because-
here's the thing: men then bitch at women about wearing yoga pants. Like you can't have it both ways. Like
Right.
pick a fucking lane, y'all. Pick a lane. Like if you're gonna demonize yoga pants, let's demonize yoga pants across the board. You know, it's like
I go exactly because I'm like that. I'm not with that shit. Like I usually like to dress preppy, but it's just like when I see dudes coming outside with that shit on, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? And with women, it's only sensitive because sometimes they wear yoga pants or wear leggings where it's not even oblique. It's actually just like see-through, so you can see the color of their panties, and it's like, yo, like we can see your joint, yo. And this is another right here. This is why I say also when it comes to the emasculation of men, they use color code schemes as well.
yeah.
Pink, bright
Yeah.
pink. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
I mean,
saying?
like I said, in business, you'll see like a true like salmon. That's probably the closest in male fashion business that is acceptable as like a salmon, right? It's a little bit of red,
Yes.
a little bit of hue, but it's also tailored with a black or a gray. It's mixed together to create layers. Whereas this shit is pastels across the board, and no one looks good in pastels across the board. Look at that. Like it's rainbow motherfucking bright. Like that's all I see when I look at that is rainbow bright. And
How's this fashion right here? Because homeboy, it looks like he just got done doing a painting.
it's fucking Dior. Oh no, that's the new thing now is like jeans that have been ripped. Like I have a pair of designer jeans that are ripped up, but they're kind of goth. They're kind of, they're meant to be kind of edgy. But on men's, look at chaps. There you go. Some chaps in this bitch. But that's what I'm getting at. It's like, who wears that? Like,
Yeah. And unfortunately, I'm used to this because let's say Phoenix. I know you know what I'm talking about. Like
Yeah.
if you go down to Soho, this is nothing new for me. You know what I'm saying? You go to Soho and you go on Broadway in Soho, you're gonna be used to seeing stuff like this.
yeah, I agree. But then we talk about men getting women and stuff like that. And that's as a woman, it's like, if I was single and I had a guy walk up to me in that and hit on me, I would like, okay, if we're talking about looks, I don't know if I'm attracted to that. Not that the guy can't be attractive, but it's like, I don't want a man who has more like feminine fashion than I do.
Right.
And I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think that's a like a anti-man statement. I think it's just, I like alpha men.
Right.
Not pretty boys.
It's not, and I know, like, if your husband started dressing in that type of way, you'd be like, "What the hell are you wearing?"
Well, look at that one. That one's the one I was talking about. It's a fucking crop top.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck is this? Like,
And they have women in these slideshows. Look at that.
Wait,
Oh
hold on,
my
hold on.
gosh.
Is that a man or woman?
I can't tell. That's my point.
Damn.
Oh.
Because it does kind of look like a man.
Look, it says spring 2021 menswear. That is a man.
Whoa. Wait a minute. Oh, shit. Wait a minute.
Oh,
Yo, damn. And this is really a man in a damn dress in flats.
man, Diddy like this. And
Yo.
Big and Birdman.
Yo, this is crazy. Let's see what else. Hey, Yo, and for real, look at that. This
This
looks
all
like they
says
just coming out the
menswear.
office.
This all says menswear. So
They have a
Yeah,
it's half a
so
tank top and a t-shirt.
yeah, but here's the thing: that fashion right there, as a woman, a pencil line skirt with that kind of top is actually very pretty for an A-line business fashion for a female in a business setting with a nice cut jacket, maybe a black, something that is or a white that's an off color. Like a woman could wear that who's a high-end executive. But now they're pitching that shit to dudes. I'm like, why?
That's what I'm saying. And it's too crazy out here with that.
Now that's
that look like a
thank
woman.
God for that. Thank God for that.
Yeah, that looks like a woman.
Yeah. But that's what I'm kind of getting. So there you go. No, okay, here's my thing. You've got you've got a hoodie that you could buy at fucking Walmart. You got a pair of khakis. But all right, what do y'all think about above the knee shorts?
Okay, now Phoenix, I'll be honest with you.
Do you wear them?
I'll be honest with you. I went to a spot like Old Navy or something like that that had like kind of like the workout shorts or something like that. They're above the knee, but they're not crazy above the knee like you just see my crotch. Okay,
Yeah,
like
they're not, are they mid thigh or are they low thigh? Because that's like low thigh, but mid thigh.
Like it's no, it's definitely not mid thigh. My joint is like right there at the knee.
Because I know that's the fashion, but I will tell you this: my husband and I were just at dinner talking about this. Because we saw a guy with we call them like the crop pant, the shorts that come up to mid thigh, and he had the skinniest legs, kind of a belly, and I was like, unless you're built like a rugby player, no, like just didn't know, like I don't think so.
Right, and yeah, I have bought shorts. I have bought shorts, but I definitely I never ever will wear shorts that's like mid thigh. You're the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Like you see, and like I said, it's nothing to us in New York. Like you'll see it a lot with hipsters, because hipsters push the envelope a lot. And if you want to see a whole entire freak show, if you want the New York experience on a subway train, go to Brooklyn. You ride the G train in Brooklyn, you'll start to see these hipsters with all this shit. And they'll be wearing stuff like it's straight out of Vogue. Or you ride around on the L train and you'll see stuff like that. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but they have to pay so much money to look so shitty. I don't get it.
See, Phoenix, I'm glad you said that. Because the thing about it is with today's fashion, it's just like people just don't care. It's like these dudes that keep talking about, I'm designing all these clothes and yada, 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 right? But there's just like, this is some shit you'll pick up at like a Walmart or a Target. You know what I'm saying? It's something just to wear, but then you're over hyping the price, and this joint is like $1,000, $700, or a t-shirt would be $150. You know what I'm saying? And I used to work in retail, and this is the time they had those long shirts that reminded me of the tall boy tees, like 2005, 2006. And popular dudes like Kanye was wearing it. Not sure Harry Styles was, but who else? Pharrell. You know what I mean? They was rocking shit like this. And I was just like, well, how is this a fashion statement?
Yeah, well, you talk about music and fashion being pushed together a lot. And that's the other thing is it's like, you see some weird shit now. And I'm just
like this. This is not like a boyfriend sweater. Like, you know what I mean? This is something.
Can I tell you what that is? That is after me and my husband go out dancing all night and it's like 40 degrees out. And I'm like, let me steal your sweatshirt. Like, that's exactly what that is. Because the dress underneath is a gown and it's like, hey, I'm cold and we got to walk to the car. That's what this is.
And this is what fashion is.
But that is not like I go out with my fucking hoodie over me. The hoodie is just now that's not bad. Okay, I'll give that one.
Yeah, that was fine. That was
except
I agree.
Black socks with white shoes that way. Like, am I the only one who pays attention to that? But that's just
no. I get what you mean, Phoenix. You're heightened on detail.
Well, I'm a woman. Okay, you just proved what you were talking about. Are women visual? Yes, women are visual.
Yes, they are. I would never debate that. They are. I learned this a lot. They like even growing up, my grandma would be like, "Why are you wearing that?"
So other men out there that might be listening to this that are worried about that, like put some effort in yourself because women do notice that. That's going to set you at a higher value if you take some time to look good, to like. I'm not saying you have to have like a PhD in fashion. I just mean like find what looks good on you.
Right.
Find what you like and rock that shit. But obviously, find what looks good on you and then get a second opinion. But
see, and this is the thing. I'm men are visual. Like there's certain things that I don't really like that women wear.
That's
like
hideous.
the whole entire the baggy look that women wear. I
Yeah.
know that was popular in the '90s, but I never really liked that. You know what I'm saying? Like woman is curvaceous, so I want the woman to
I also
remain.
think women should never wear top collar buttons that go all the way up to the neck. It makes them look like a school
School teacher,
an angry school teacher, not a sexy, not a hot for teacher.
an angry school teacher.
Yeah, the one that got left for a 21-year-old. Like that's what it looks like. But that's actually very pretty. That's A-line. Again, very. I'm not a big fan of capris, but I still like the fabric. The fabric is pretty. Yeah, I can't believe we're doing fashion right now. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to distract the panel, but.
Nah. It was expansive. This is kind of like my celebration before break. So.
After if I get a chance, I'd like to explain what I meant earlier.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, bro. Chime in whenever you want.
Yeah. So, are you familiar, Bronze, with the idea of the Baphomet?
Oh yeah.
The Baphomet?
Yeah.
I know the Baphomet.
Okay, so if you know anything about it, that whole imagery was created to confuse you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I said earlier when we saw the imagery of that dude in that really feminine outfit, I was confused. That's why I correlated the two. Like, yo, this is the confusing imagery that's being pushed. If you're watching this and you don't know what the Baphomet is, it's basically a humanoid figure, the head of a goat,
the women's tits.
Torso of a woman, a lower half of a man, with the male genitalia and everything. That is meant to confuse you. I don't know if one of y'all can pull it up, but
The Baphomet.
Yeah, Baphomet. Yeah.
I got that, and it's
occult.
Yeah, it's usually related to it's not a religion, but Satanism. That type of protocol.
It doesn't have to be Satanism. It can be paganism too.
It's making what?
I said it can be paganism, so not just Satanism.
Oh yeah, paganism. That's what Arthur be talking about.
See,
and I never explained the reason why it's a goat's head. It is because
I've seen it many times.
They are the Baphomet is of the carnal world. They do not, or it does not think that spiritual concepts really apply to life. Whether it be religious or strictly spiritual. So it thinks in terms of carnal, and the symbol that I was doing with this hand is one that's often taken out of Christianity or Hinduism, and it's to symbolize enlightenment. So it has. Sometimes it will depict itself with its two children, and the children are blindly following it off a cliff.
No,
so it's presenting itself as though it's enlightened, but really it's just supposed to confuse you and lure you away.
Well, you know what I think is a representation nowadays of the whole entire thing, and I had to make sure I had to filter this shit because I ain't trying to do no X-rated stuff on here. What I really think they're trying, because like I said in a previous video, they're trying to gear this towards men becoming emasculized. Women are trying to get women to become masculine, but this is why I say it's usually a war on men. Women have their, when it comes to socialization, it's everybody, men, women, children, but the most thing that they're trying to take is men. So they're trying to get men to become more feminized, right? And this is the future of. Hold on. This is why I don't know why I think Baphomet when I see this, right? The whole concept of femboys right here, like dudes dressing in skirts.
That's Lolitas. Yeah, Lolitas.
Oh yeah, I seen that.
Some of that common shit is also about It's also in the FET community too. Though remember we were talking about FET community and people like that whole like reversal of roles and power dynamics. So if like what you just pulled up about Lolita, Lolita is like an anime. It's a style of a super feminine girl, right? Like suit femme, like ponytail, you know, pigtails and ruffles. Which, by the way, I can't do ruffles, so that will never happen in my channel. But like it, you see guys that do that to play a role. So I've seen that in like some of the communities that I've been in, and it's weird. It's a, I don't want to say the word weird just for weird purposes, but it's a power issue. Men, they don't want to be men. They want to be, you know, girls, little girls. It's like a little. It's not even being women. They don't want to be women.
They want to be
feminine. Little femme girls, almost like underage girls. And to me, that's where it gets.
Yeah, like it's okay, because it reminds me of the guy that was like 50, and I think he was like a father or whatever.
Yeah.
And then one day he sat up there and said he's a woman. So he was like, "Oh, I'm a trans woman or whatever," and stuff like that. And like I said, I live in a cesspool of liberalism. Mm-hmm. So my thing is, living in a city like mine, the concept of femboys is like, you see all that shit downtown. You know what I'm saying? You go to you go to the hood, you ain't really gonna see that. You know what I mean? But that's what I mean. Like the whole entire Baphomet concept, whether you're saying to do what thou wilt, or the whole entire thing, they're taking these ploys of turning things upside down. Good is wrong, wrong is good. You know? So the concept and the blurred lines of what a man should be is now confused, because now they're trying to say, well, masculinity doesn't have to be a man being a builder and all these different things. A femboy or a feminine man can still be a man because he's a man. And it's like, those are issues to me.
Yeah.
You're trampling over exactly what I'm supposed to do in my innate nature as a man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I see stuff like that, and I'm just like, yo, it's coming crazy out here, yo. Like, dudes out here with nail polish and crop tops.
And it's also conditioning some women or some younger girls to think that masculine men are toxic. And I don't think that's true either. Like a strong man who can stand up for himself. And I'm not talking about an abusive person. I'm not talking about somebody beating on somebody. We obviously have lines drawn. Okay, I'm just putting that out there. But I mean, when a man claims his space, it shows assertiveness. Sometimes shows aggressiveness when needed. Like a woman shouldn't judge a man on that and say, "Oh, well, I've been around all these men that are hyper woke or hyper, you know, like you just showed in that way," and say, "Oh, well, they're now toxic masculinity." That's not toxic masculinity. That's masculinity. You're mixing it up, you know. And I do see some young girls that are calling something wrong against a guy that is a strong, independent alpha male, and not recognizing that that is a natural tendency for men, and that's okay, right? Does that make sense?
No,
like
that makes sense.
Judged as an alpha because the women are now used to highly feminized men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know? I agree, and it's like the point is to have the woman go over the man, so that they want the man to be now assertive to the woman. You know, so you see stuff like that, and it's just like, I can't agree with that shit. Like, I don't have to call you out your name. I don't have to call you a bitch. But then at the same time, you're not about to sit up there and try to tell me what I do is wrong and that I have to be assertive to you. Fuck that. I got into a lot of debates about this whole entire toxic masculinity thing. And they're sitting up there saying it's nothing wrong with expressing yourself and touching and feeling into your feminine side. I'm like, yo, fam, I'm a man, right? Like, toxic masculinity, what are you talking about? And it's weird, Phoenix, because these dudes that have conversations with me, they agree with that shit. It's like, I'm sitting up there like really confused. I'm like, y'all agree with the whole entire term of toxic masculinity? But then they'll take the trite point and they'll try to say, they'll try to rail it to abuse. And I said, I'm not talking about abuse when I say I disagree with toxic masculinity. Yeah. What I'm saying is, I don't agree with toxic masculinity because if I'm naturally aggressive, that's just how I am. That's how men are. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now we have to channel it to the right way. You know what I'm saying? I don't call for abuse on women. whether it be physical, mental, whatever. No. But at the same time, if I'm used to going ahead and say I have to build, or I speak like this, or I move like this, my persona is like this as a man, what is the problem?
Exactly. No,
why are you trying to take that away from me? Like, nah.
Yep. No, I agree.
So
and it confuses other men too in that way too, because like, again, when you talk about women and natural gravitation, you know, like a strong woman doesn't necessarily, like when we talk about where they are in their element, like I could be a really, again, I'm obviously have a career and pretty strong in my leadership in my career, but like with my husband is my dominant, he's my alpha, you know, and I want him to be my alpha. I want that. I don't want to be, yes, I can be career focused, but when I get off work, you know, and when we're together, like that's our dynamic. I don't want to be in charge. He should be in charge. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
every space is different. And that's where I think, like I said, some of these roles also are getting mixed up that way. It's like, you know, when you talk about marriage and partner choosing and dynamics, there has to be a yin and a yang. There has to be masculine and feminine energy. There has to have that.
Balance, yeah.
Like, otherwise, you're fighting each other for it. You become competition. You become rivalry and competition versus partnership, right? Think about it. And because now you're competing for masculine energy with your husband, or vice versa. You're competing with feminine energy with your wife. That's not going to work long term.
And that's not, that's going to be short term, because it's like men. It's like the man is like, well, this is how I am, but the woman's trying to say, well, you need to listen to me because this is how. It's like that's why I'm saying it is a great thing when a woman is feminine. It's not a curse. It's a great thing when a woman is feminine. Demetris, I see you unmute and mute, so go ahead and get a word in there.
I mean, you know, as much as this people like tend to like criticize this whole sector of YouTube. By the way, when I say sector, I mean the manosphere and the pro-womanism side that host, you know, the Level Up community. We know them, and everything. What I see here is a correlation between people, people standing in their radical viewpoints, and then people normalizing that and not being able to distinguish a person from their viewpoints. I don't know if you saw me, Bronzebird, in the other breakdown of women's perspective video, but I interacted with some of the TMHC people, you know, the man-hating cult. That
what are they called, Demetris? What's that called again?
The men hating club.
They have that. That's a like. Is that they actually label themselves that way? Is that what they call themselves?
Yeah, it would be like if let's say you were that, you would say Phoenix TMHC.
Yeah, they hyper.
Wow, they actually straight up say I hate men.
Well, I think it's supposed to be trolling to like.
Yeah, that's
troll
what I
people.
think. It's just
it's just to evoke a reaction.
Oh wow! Yeah, well, you're gonna get a negative one.
Every time you see them on panels, it's panels within the manosphere. But then when they're on their own channel, they start talking shit about dudes in the manosphere.
So are they trying to, Dimitri? Are they trying to come in and like almost create like an attack? Is it like a war zone kind of situation?
I mean, see, here's my thing of that. There's this whole concept of the gender war. What people got to realize is, if we war with ourselves, we lose. Nobody wins. So, like, that's why I have this push to like listen to both sides, stop like conflating people and their views, and like separate the two, because that's a concept that comes from extremism. That is that side, and anything that comes from that side is bad. I don't know, it's weird, but you know, a lot of the stuff that we were just talking about, with men becoming more effeminate, or the push for men to become effeminate, and the pushback against that comes out of the manosphere. It's kind of like, even though it has its toxic moments and toxic messages, you can draw positive conclusions from it, but only if you, you know, sift through the BS.
Sure.
But here's the thing about the TMHC thing. I mean, they're just. You have to understand in this space, some people are just trolls. Now, they will say like provocative things like, "Oh, the white man got his foot on your neck, and you gonna be crying for mama in your last moments." Um, but you can't give people like that your attention
Sure.
because that's what they want. They want attention. And if Phoenix, you never actually interacted with me before, but now you know. Bronzebird knows. I sit somewhere in the middle
Sure.
because I'm sitting here watching the chaos go down with my friend Lolan, and we are cracking up. Like y'all don't understand that y'all are doing some of the same things to each other that you'll demonize the other for.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know if this was on Miss Elite's panel or yours, Bronze, but it was one of the whole, where did the moderates go? Like, where did the middle go? Like, where did the people that can interact with extremism, but yet still come to some form of like a moderate modicum? And I just, there's so many people that just don't have that capability.
They get demonized.
And I'm laughing, Phoenix, because I know it's probably for sure it was definitely Miss Elite's panel.
I can't remember, but it was a topic that was brought up.
But it's like, I'm sorry, like, you know that it's kind of like I don't agree with one particular community, because it's like even when you try to have conversations with them, it's always just sitting up there pushing the blame like, well, you men need to step up. And it's like, yo, I'm really trying to give you a fair conversation, but the more you keep pushing, after a while, I'm just like, I can't do this no more. So now I just believe you're a man terrorist. Like, I can't, because I'll try, and I really will try to have those conversations. But I just was like, after a while, you're going to keep saying the same thing. It's just kind of like hitting a brick wall. Yeah. Where are we going after this? Yeah, so yes, I do try to get the middle ground of it, but it's just like, after a while, if you're going to have your opinion, it's no reason for me to kind of
you can't change, like, to that point. You can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink on that one.
Exactly.
At least you try. But you know what's sad, Demetris, what you just wrote in the chat about being called fence sitters? Sometimes being a fence sitter is a good thing, right? Sitting on the fence, evaluating both opinions and coming to your own conclusions.
Exactly.
I'm good with that, because I want to know which side of the fence for each individual topic that I need to figure out, because one topic I may be left, other topic I may be right, and the other topic I just may sit literally in the middle. Just depends, So I don't think it's sad that fence sitting label, Demetris, is actually like a bad thing. To me, that's not. Like, I would hope that would have more positive connotation, but you're right. It's like they've labeled that a negative, right?
Yeah, it's part of that whole you're either for or against, pick a side. Man, I remember somebody tried to make me do that. It was my first year in college. I was like, yo, I'm out. I ain't picking no side.
Don't give an ultimatum. Fuck you, right? Like, if you want me to, I'll choose my own side, which is the third option, which is I'm no longer participating in this situation.
Exactly. Like, it's like, whether it's online communities or just like real life, I've always hated that whole entire thing. They'd be like, oh, that means it's kind of like they to know if you're a fence sitter, you're really picking one side when you're not, or you're just a snake or something like that. And it's like, no, it's me having an independent thought that I see the good in both of y'all, and I'm not trying to take sides because I can see 50-50 on both, right? Yep. Just like I can see the bullshit in someone, but I can see the good in someone. There's always a balance. And there's a lot of people who lose that value nowadays because everything has to be to the extreme or the ultimatum. And when you don't operate like that, it's just kind of like, well, who are you for having not necessarily a conscience, but just having this way about yourself where you're like, well, this is how I rock out, and if you don't like it, you don't have to deal with me. Now that would mean that now I am taking sides because you're trying to force me to come to your side, and you're kind of just pushing upon my boundaries.
Yeah, and if they give good enough arguments, then they will come to your side, or you will come to their side. Like, to me, it's about the quality of the argument. Like, give me, like, when I first got exposed to the manosphere, I got exposed to the worst of it. I really did. I got exposed to some of the more extreme of, women that work deserve to basically be left by their spouse. I mean, I got some of the more toxic. Well, I don't even talk to. I got more of the this is your role. You're not operating in your role, and you suck and you deserve to die, right? There are people out there, Bronzebird, you've encountered them in the manosphere, of people that are like, this is, hard line, no room for any form of adjustment or individuality. So I did have a bad taste in my mouth, but I will say this. Through being on some of these panels, from interacting with you, Bronzebird, because you are a conduit to the manosphere in a way that is very professional. It lays out issues in a way that seem like, okay, that makes sense, even if I don't totally understand it because I'm a woman, but I can say, okay, I can relate to that experience and I can have sympathy versus empathy. I can see that. And that's what I mean but you can shape people. You've just got to make sure you're presenting facts and doing it in a way that doesn't immediately to your point, Demetris, demonize people, you know? And anytime somebody does a broad stroke and says this entire movement is shit, well, then I have a hard time with that too, because a movement has to exist. And like, there has to be a problem in order for a movement to exist. So to totally invalidate that problem, in this case, men's rights, men's needs, men's experiences, is really fucking wrong for women to just say the manosphere shouldn't exist. Because then we are invalidating men's experiences, right? Maybe not all men, but some men.
Like, it's like their concept is you're a crybaby, and it's just kind of like a whole entire throw you to the wolves type of concept. But it's just like, this is the reason why, like, because I want to know this, Phoenix. So, like, when you came into the manosphere, were you on the message boards? Like, were you in a chat and dudes was coming at you, or you was just watching, like, ghost watching?
I had, obviously, some of the trolling situations with the incel community, right? Because some of the people I know in real life and some of the situations that I've been exposed to online as a woman in marketing, right? Like, we deal with, like, helping brands and small businesses, some female-dominated industries. So I've been exposed to the online space for a long time. But when I got really exposed to Manosphere, it was specific to MGTOW, right? The MGTOW groups. And they are highlighted, #MGTOW. And, I tried to connect with a few. This is before Miss Elite. This is just kind of general MGTOW. I had come across some of the content that was very, like, it was almost like telling men, like, if you have a woman that has an education and has a job, you're failing as a man. It was very much like marriage, right? Marriage off the table. It felt very manipulative, very PUA. And I don't want to give out names. This is your, but, maybe you and I could talk at some point offline, like in a chat or whatever. Yeah. But it was like, it just felt so judgmental. As a woman, like, here I am, you're like basically checking boxes of me as a woman and branding me a woman that is definitely not who I am. I treat my husband great. Like, I love my husband. We're great. My husband shouldn't leave me because I decided to build a career. You know what I mean? It was that, and so I, unfortunately, like almost to Demetris, like, I tried to be a fence sitter, but I was kind of on that. Okay, the manosphere feels like it could really be like painful to women that really want to interact with men that are in the manosphere.
Yeah, and because even as much as me being in the manosphere, there's certain things in the manosphere, not even certain, a good amount of things. There's certain brothers in the manosphere that feel the way that I feel, and they're just like a bunch of these dudes in the space, A, contradict themselves, and B, they're very extreme. It's kind of like, a lot of times we'll have certain amount of times a lot of these dudes express red pill rage, in which they're saying, women are the worst in the world, they're bitches, and it's just like, but bro, you're not going to become a gay man. You're not interested in men. So still at the end of the day, as much shit as you talk, you still want to be with a woman. It's just the same thing when I hear from women. Now, because this is it reminded me of what the event that I went to in Brooklyn. Today's Sunday, right? So it was Friday. And so I'm hearing this woman poet speak. It was a so-called black woman, seemed to be Gen Z. Mm-hmm. And a whole entire poem, she's sitting up there saying, niggas ain't shit. And I'm sitting up there listening. It's like, yeah, niggas ain't shit. You don't deserve this pussy. And I'm just like, that sounds like a feminist. That sounds like a feminist. I'm sitting up there, my eyes, I swear, my eyes was just rolling. And I was trying to look at one place so that I didn't have that reaction. But I was just sitting there listening. I'm like, but you still like dick though.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
at the end of the day, you can complain if your preference is so-called black men as a so-called black woman, and you saying niggas ain't shit. You still want a black man, because it's not like you're gonna become a lesbian and say, well, lesbians ain't shit. You're just saying niggas ain't shit. So that's why I'm saying like that extreme. I can never do that extreme. Now there's things with women, behaviors with women, I have to naturally say I don't like. I just don't. It's just natural like that. There's certain things that I know, Phoenix, because you're married, even though you're with your husband, there's certain things as a man you may not like that he does, or because you've known him for a while, you've known him years and years and years, you still know there's traits about him that you don't
Well, yeah,
like.
because he's a fucking individual, and there's things that drive him nuts. But what we do is we respect each other and we communicate.
Yes.
And at no point do I say, okay, my husband interacted with me in this way, so that must mean every man is like that, or vice versa. I'm going to punish my husband for the way that someone online fucking treated me. You see what I mean? Like, you gotta separate the individuality. You gotta separate individual people.
Phoenix developed like pink pill rage. Like, husbands ain't shit.
I didn't know what pink pill was. I'll be honest with you, I had no idea what it was. So I'm glad you actually did that little skit at the beginning, like the little like.
Yeah. But I didn't know about that either, though, Phoenix. To be fair, because I was like, every time I heard pink pill, it was crystalline kerosene. It wasn't fem cells when I looked it up the other day. It was all about crystalline kerosene. They say, oh yeah, take the pink pill, and mainly what it denotes is explore your options, aka if you don't want to deal with black men, don't deal with them. But like I said, like not to make this a race issue again, but just the fact of the matter, I don't like that notion, because you don't have to be loyal to your race. No one's putting a gun to your head and saying you must be with a black man. So that's the whole thing that bugged me about pink pill. But then when I looked it up the other day, is about fem cells, and I'm just like, okay, but we don't really have a conversation on fem cells. Even if you look on YouTube, you're more gonna find the incel community mainly men. You're not gonna find a lot of fem cells.
Yeah, not an online, but I will say this: there is a whole group of older women, and I'm in the ballroom dancing community, so I can actually like talk to this. There is a group of fem cells when you talk about women that don't necessarily want to be incel-like. But they're usually older women that were dumped by their husbands for younger women, usually in kind of upscale, middle class, social classes. Yeah. And they're 50, 60, 70, potentially all the way up to 80. And they want to date. They want to fuck. They want to have, experiences, because they are not washed up in their own minds, and they can't find men. They can't find what they're looking for. So they're kind of forced. But they're not going to be on YouTube, right? They're an older generation. They're a boomer generation.
Right.
That is technically in real life a femcel-like, right? They might be doing online dating, but having a lot of terrible experiences. And sexually, they probably do want to explore their sexuality, but they've been aged out, according to society, according to the men that might be online. It's just not a demographic you're going to see in the online space.
No, you're not. And if you ever do see the femcel-like behavior from these women, usually you're gonna see them like, because I don't know if it's boomers. I could say that it's boomers. It's boomers and Generation X, right? You'll usually see them like on Facebook dating. Okay.
Yeah, Facebook dating, or like Christian Mingle.
Yeah.
Even though I always find
all those like wholesome sites, but like you notice on Facebook, they'll have those dating forums, and they'll just be there. They'll be like, yeah, 40, 50 years old, no, 50, 60 years old, 2, 3 grown children looking to date. I'm this, I'm that.
Farmers. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know.
And it's like, you'll see that. And it's just like, yo, like, I get it. But I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like, I'll say it like this. I think like I said, I'm young. Mm-hmm. I try not to go with the constraints of like society. Now, if I see a badass grandma, okay, if I see a badass grandma, I'm like, what's up? You know what I mean?
Hey, good.
Because I'll be blown away. Like, look, it's certain women that's like in their 50s and 60s, and they look good.
There is a whole reason they're called cougars and pumas. They have a whole category. They exist for a reason. Yeah, it's true. But I would say, like I said, femcel, that label, that's probably going to be your current, as a majority role, your current. Because even a young woman who may not be, again, I hate the rating system, but let's just say to your standard, maybe a 4. On a late night bar, extrovert nightclub experience, she could probably still pick up something for a one night experience. Now, long-term relationship?
No.
Probably not. I don't know.
That'd be less likely if she would be considered a 4, right?
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, like, that's why I'm saying, like, that's why I don't think. I'm just being honest. I don't really think themselves is as effective because women do have the upper hand when it comes to attraction.
Yeah, they say that women have the power before sex, men have the power after sex.
They do. Yeah.
Think about that emotionally. So women have power all the way up until because we can say no, right? Well, we hope we can say no. No sexual assault on this panel, please. But that's what I'm getting at. We can flirt, we can tease, we can, if we're being feminine, we can be chaste, right? Mm-hmm. But once we give it up, now, like we talked about in the last panel, then our value system potentially changes. Our model changes, our reputation changes, and we potentially lose that sexual economic power that you were talking about.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. So that's why I said some of it's circumstance when you talk about, like when they make that blanket statement, well, women have all the power. Depends on what you're talking about, right? Depends on the circumstances you're talking about. Because they can shift, power dynamic shift, depending on where you're at, And like, you see what I mean? Like, same thing when you say women. When I hear you say the women with power, I'm thinking young women, fairly attractive, good options, coming from an educational and a socioeconomic area where they can make it on their own. Now they have power.
Yes.
But you take somebody else who's either, again, disability, look issue, weight problem in that particular circumstance, potentially an economic issue where they're incredibly poor, right? They're not going to have any power. They're not going to have any ability to mobilize. They're probably going to have to get married. They're going to have to get pregnant quickly to be able to economically be secure. Mm-hmm. And that's the stuff when we talk in these spheres and use these group language, I always struggle because I'm always looking for the criteria. Like, okay, what's the criteria that we're talking about? Because that's the thing I hated about some of the early MGTOW manosphere stuff that I was telling you about, is they use these really wide spectrum, wide brushstrokes, but they're not really applying to everybody. That's not an everybody experience, right? And I think that's what Demetri was saying earlier too about being in the moderate, is you have the opportunity to look at like the criteria and then make an assessment off that, right?
Yeah.
Demetri, what's your thought on that? I mean, does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense.
I mean, even better than thinking about it in terms of pills, I think of it in terms of like seeds. Okay, like red seed, blue seed. If you have too many bad experience, the seed dies and turns black. That's like despair or whatever. But here's the thing, people always try to present things in terms of duality. I did a video just last night. I was kind of all over the place, but I did a video just last night, like with the whole Pookie and Ray Ray conversation. I was like, well, what about the black geeks? What about him or her? Like,
what's him or her?
Are we gonna talk about them?
What's the him or her? What's him or her?
Huh?
I missed the last one. You said the black geek, and what was the other one that you said?
No, I was saying, like, what about the black geeks? What about him or her?
Oh,
like
gotcha.
The blurs. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, like I said, the problem is when we talk about that, the reason why it's a rebellion now is because too many times the Pookies and Ray Rays would be the version of the black Chad, basically.
Right.
They get all the girls, they get all the women. They're degenerate.
Am I the only one that finds that to be a very racist kind of term, though? Or am I the only one?
Chad?
No, Pookie and Ray Ray.
Yeah, it's because
we're
literally. I have to find out. I did look it up. One day. Like, where did they get that from? They said it's reference to a show, but I forgot where it comes from. So yes, when it's talking about Pookies and Ray Rays, they're usually relating it about black men. Your everyday hood black man. The sag the pants off your ass. Listen to rap music. Degenerate behavior and all these different things. Even by persona, you denote the ghetto type of way. So it's a rebellion now because the Pookie and Ray Ray is the black Chad, right? So they get all the recognitions, whereas nerds, believe it or not, people don't believe I'm a nerd. I clarify myself as a nerd, but I guess I would be the Stefan of nerds.
Stefan?
Even though I hate the standard of being a nerd means you watch anime. Nerds come in all different factions.
Yeah, I mean, I was just at Tampa's like MegaCon and MegaCon. Man, it was split. I mean, from like a diversity, we had Asian, there's black men, black women. Some of my closest friends that are in, you know, kind of what we consider traditional nerd type of activities and gaming activities.
Yeah, it's all
black men. They're not.
It's
white.
all nations, right? And I see that because I haven't been. I want to go to Comic Con because I don't know if I know the city is fine with like opening back up. So whenever they have it again, then I want to go. But I'm used to the skateboard community. I'm used to words. I'm used to reading. So that's why I don't like even when I don't know if it's a competition or nerds because it just bugs me. Like growing up, they be like the way you're a nerd is because you watch anime. No.
Yeah,
you can be a nerd.
No, that's called a weeb.
Yeah, that's like I hate that because they're setting the nerd for just watching anime, and I'm like, dude, you don't have to be a nerd by watching anime. What the fuck? Like I'm a nerd by reading in words, and I guess I would be essentially different because I like to skateboard. So like that standard for being a nerd is just kind of like, well, you're leaving me out the picture because I have a
Skateboarding
problem
black
with
man, what?
Yeah, I mean, I've always, like I said, strangely, I mean, like I said, down here in Tampa, and a lot of the friends that I have, like even in the goth community, like I was just out of the goth club on Friday, and there were tons of black men and black women there. Like, yeah, there's still a predominant goth white, you know, it's actually older, you know, a lot of like it's a very aged group, but this whole idea that you know, it's all for white people of this demographic and this age is shifting rapidly. That is not. And it's a good thing. That is
that's what I was just gonna say. It's a good thing because I hate it when like certain and it's more flack. I'm not sure because with the Asian community, it's this weird concept they call like we have the thing called Denorio, right? But then when I heard from the Asian community, their version is being called the banana. You're yellow on the outside, but white on the inside. And I'm like, that's really a thing? Like,
I've never heard that, but maybe.
Yeah, I found this. I forgot. I think it was BuzzFeed or one of these BuzzFeed affiliated like YouTube channels, and they were saying, yeah, the stereotype for an Asian person who's trying to act white is a banana.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I never heard that.
I've never heard it either before that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like Florida. Like at least where I live in Florida, it's not. Like if I was living in San Francisco, if I was living out in California, I work with a lot of Asians and my California clients, especially LA. And then when we would go up to Portland and Seattle, you're going to see a stronger influence just because of where it is located in the United States. But here in Florida, it's I would say it's more of a minority, right? Like it's going to be the smallest minority that's around here in Tampa.
Oh, really? In Tampa?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because here in New York is strong because you have Chinatown, but then they expand like that Flushing, Queens, right? Yeah. And then with the Asian community in Brooklyn, they took over what is it, Bensonhurst or something like that? Like that area around in Brooklyn, they took over that area. So you have the Asians out there. But like more so if you go to Queens, like past Flushing, mainly Asians, right? So you'll usually see them out there. Yeah. And it's just really wild because I've never heard, and like I have Asian friends, but they've never told me about being considered a banana or no,
and that's why I'm wondering if that's an online buzz.
I think it might be strictly
real,
online.
Like I just cannot imagine sitting at a coffee shop and having like an Asian friend around me and suddenly walk up like, do you know you're a banana? Like I just don't see that scenario playing out. You know?
It's weird because I said, I can't imagine.
And here's the thing: and if they did, I would rip them apart. The Asian person wouldn't have to be involved. I would be like, what the fuck? Like, get the fuck out of here. Here's my latte in your face. Like, no, that's just,
Yeah, I think because I think when we talk about a lot of these words and these terms, it's just mainly online stuff. That's how crazy. That's how our society is.
And it shouldn't move from online. That's my issue.
Yeah, because when you put it offline and you try to relate it in real life, it's just people like looking at you like, what?
And they should socially shame you. Like if you're still using a lot of racist, like some of the shit you see in some of these things, and you go that to a job and you start talking that way, you will get fired for workplace harassment or diversity. I mean, that shit will have consequences.
Yeah.
And it should, because people don't need to go to work and hear that they're called banana, right? That's not something that they need to be exposed to. That's a very
like, yeah. And I'm just like, I can't imagine that. Like, we all have to shame you once you say that. Like, you call an Asian person, you try to act like a white person a banana. Like, it's just really weird. That's what I mean. Because I mean, anytime I've ever heard someone use an internet term in real life, I'm just looking at them like,
I think the one for us in the white community is Karen as a woman, right? You're Karen.
But they use that. But they use that out now though.
Yeah, no. I have been in places where people outwardly call people Karens. There's no fucking question, and it's usually associated with the coronavirus. It's been associated with mass shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're being a royal Karen bitch, right? Karen.
Karen.
Yeah, and
but it was a term before that too, though, right? It was Karen. It was Karen, and it was another term before that.
I don't know what the other. See, I don't know about the other. Karen's the one that's been vocally.
Yeah, that's the one that's been used now. But I remember they did have a term before calling, specifically white women Karens. Like they was using.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
This is something to me has been in at least.
Yeah, but Karen is the most popular one. But they was using a term before Karen, and I'm trying to remember what it was, but. Yeah, they was using that, and it's like, oh yeah, you're acting like a da-da-da-da. But now they say Karen, and it's just like, yeah, like, so basically anytime a white woman complains, like, oh, you're being a Karen. Yeah. And I'm just sitting there like, this is really crazy because all of this is internet shit, but now
it
really out here sitting up there talking about, oh, that woman is a Karen just because she started complaining. Yeah. And I'm just like, what? Like, that's just like if somebody calls me a damn Pookie. And I just be like, the fuck you talking about, bro? Like, I've never, but I ain't never been called a Pookie. I've been called an Oreo, of course, but I've never been called a Pookie. Like, and it's even weird if I ever seen a hood dude and I sit up there and say, yeah, he's a Pookie. Like, they could be sitting up there looking at me like, what the fuck are you talking about, Bronzebird? Like, why are you calling a dude a Pookie? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is a weird term, by the way. Pookie, like just the name Pookie. It's almost like a term of endearment that went bad. Think about as a woman, when I hear, oh, hey Pookie, like it's a dog's name, like like it's a pet name. Pookie, or like, oh, my honey, my Pookie, my bae, my sweetie. Like as a woman, I could see that being a term of endearment in like an intimate, not sex, but like an intimate, like pet name, like a pet name. That's what I meant. Like, but yeah, I've not ever heard that. I'm just saying that's what I go to if I hear.
You know what, Phoenix? There's speculations of where Pookie come from. The movie that came out in 1991, New Jack City, with Chris Rock
and Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes and Alan Payne and all that other stuff. Now Chris Rock's character was named Pookie. He was a drug dealer. He did crack, and he wound up being an informant for the cops, which what's his name played the cop, Ice-T. Yep. And then they was trying to take down the CMB. They was trying to take down the Cash Money Brothers, Wesley Snipes and their whole crew, but he got killed in the process. So I think, but that still wouldn't relate though, because Chris Rock's character was a basehead. He was a crackhead. So it's just kind of like, how are you gonna relate a crackhead to?
Yeah, but you're trying to use like intelligence and logic to people that probably didn't even watch the movie. They probably saw a meme of something and they're like, oh, that's it. Because a lot of times I see that shit all the time. It's like, do you even like think with your own mind, or you just take what the fuck?
A lot of people just don't think. They just go off of whatever is said, and then that's it. You know what I mean? And even with that, you had Karen, but then before that, you had Bye Felicia, which comes from where? Friday.
It's sad because that's my aunt's name, but Felicia actually is a real name. She's Italian.
In Phoenix. I'm sorry to interrupt, but Phoenix, there was a white girl I met that was named Felicia.
Yeah, it's Italian name. Felicetta is the true Italian version. That's
okay.
Yeah, Felicia. Well, some go by Felicia. It's Americanized. My aunt's from Sicily. I'm Roman, but my aunt is. They married. My uncle married a Sicilian woman, and my aunt Felicetta. But yeah, when the whole Bye Felicia came out, she was not happy with that.
I know she wasn't.
What did I do? I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, because I said it kindly to the girl, right? And I wasn't, I was just there chilling with her. I was like, I was trying to talk to her, but I was like, oh yeah, you get fired. She's like, yeah, they say bye Felicia all the time. I'm so annoyed by it.
Yeah.
You sit there like, damn, like you get the brunt of it. Like, bye Felicia. And she's like, can y'all stop mentioning my name?
Yeah.
Can y'all chill out?
Yeah. It just goes to show you, like, and the same thing I'm sure with Karens right now. Like, there's probably really nice Karens out there. Poor Karen, man. She's
Poor Karen is suffering right now.
and she cannot get a fucking a bob cut or any form of like 90s hairstyle, or she's fucked. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna go get some fucking hair extensions and a fucking Kim Kardashian ass and set herself apart because otherwise she's fucked. You know?
Yeah, them bob cuts. Yeah, you should get the bob cuts as a wrap. That's how it was when I was chilling in Long Island. The Italians out in Long Island, they used to.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a whole reality show. What was that Dance Moms or I can't think of
it. Yeah, Dance Moms. Yeah. They had those tans. They had the tans and they had the pixie and the bob cuts. Yeah. It's just like, yo, it's great. Well, then again, I say this all the time. I have to say this. Italians is more bold than other like.
Oh fuck yeah! Let's build into our culture. We're argumentative.
I like Italians. A lot of Italians is cool.
We're argumentative.
Whenever they're not on no racist shit, I like Italians.
Yeah, well, I told you again. Interesting kind of like I said, assimilation to white culture. That a lot of people don't know is that like when my mother's Italian, my dad's German and English. Well, German Native American English, and very little English, mostly German. But it's interesting because when my mother and my dad first got together, it was considered interracial because my mother, being Roman in the 1960s. Italians were not assimilated into Caucasian census yet. So the perception from the my grandparents' age group, great grandparents' age group, was Italians were not white. They were their own demographic. Okay, yes. And they were considered Mediterranean, right? The skin is brown. It's a light brown.
Yeah, light brown. Yeah.
So when my mother and my dad got together, and later my Aunt Felicetta ended up marrying the younger brother of my dad. But it's interesting because my mother had racial prejudice from some members of the German side of my family because of the fact that they didn't really want an Italian Catholic woman to marry a Lutheran Protestant German man, a German English man. So I grew up, I think that's why my tolerance and my diversity is even more because I grew up with a mother that was judged on her race. Like, it's different now. But it was something that, as a child, as my sister's older than me by 10 years, that was vivid as part of our family history, is the racial, they considered you mafia. You're a fucking mob boss. You're a W word. I don't like the word. I don't say it just like I don't say the N word. But they had racially, that you were dirty. Your skin was dirty.
John Gotti and
and so, crew. Again, now you don't think of Italians, right? You don't think of Italians as anything but white. Like, that's just what you think.
But you know what was crazy about that, Phoenix?
Yeah.
My friend in high school, around the time when Jersey Shore came out?
Oh no.
Yo, I tell you this, Phoenix, he was so mad. Cause me and my friend, like we was joking about it. We used to be like, taxis ahead. And we used to repeat all the shit they said.
Yeah.
And then we would, because he had, his mom's was mad cool. I have to say that. Like, it was very loving mentality. I think they owned a pizza shop or whatever. They
talking about stereotypical right there.
But they did, yeah, I know. Because it was like, I was trying to think of this, like, but yeah, they really did own a pizza shop. So I was like, yeah. So we come over, they have the pizza or whatever. And you'd be mad chill. I think he just got married 2 years ago. But we would come over there, and he used to rag on it. He used to be like, yo, Jersey Shore is such a shit show. They make Italians look bad. And
they do make Italians look bad. I agree with him. And those people people do need to be hosed down. They do look greasy. Like, they wear too much hair wax. And it's giving Italians a bad name. It's like back up off the bronzing suntan lotion shit and
the tanning salon and you know what I mean,
chest presses without doing leg presses, please.
Gym tan and laundry and all that other stuff. Like, I was laughing as hell because I actually liked that show, but it was just like,
you do. I cannot see you.
I did because it was all right, but it was funny though because you had Mike the Situation, right? And then you had Snooki Snooki, whatever her name is, who wasn't Italian. She was adopted by an Italian family.
Yeah, but they personified her.
Oh yeah, she was definitely personified. But then you had the romantic couple, not Jay Wow, what's her name? Sammy the Sweetheart and that dude, Ronnie, I think his name is. So you had them on the show, and so the whole entire thing was just like, this is what Jersey Shore is about. And I'm just like, all I know, when I was growing up, I was like, I only knew Italians from Staten Island. Then when I got to college, now I know it's about Italians in Long Island. So,
Romans and Sicilians don't like each other.
Really?
So in Italian history, the Sicilians and the Romans are from different genetic lines. They're different. So there is, in fact, as I said, my mother's Roman. My aunt Felicetta, she is Sicilian. And my mother and my aunt Felicetta did not get along very well for many, many, many years. Now, they've all been married. My dad and my mom have been married. They're going on their 49th anniversary.
Nice.
49 years together. We'll probably do something for their 50th. And my aunt Felicetta and Uncle Rich have been married 44. There was like a 40. Again, he's younger. So they eventually came back around. But there's stories from my youth that are like, just stupid shit like that. Like stupid shit of like, it shows different regions, different dialects. The type of Italian that my aunt speaks is slightly different. It's a different dialect than what my mother's family is. So it shows you, like, just because you have a label of being Irish or Italian or English, like even the English have the Welsh, which don't sound like, and that's what I'm getting at, is like nationality is more complex. And then you add race to it, and you add another layer of complexity.
Right.
So,
and even when you analyze like the history, like when the Irish and the Italian came around, you know, of course they had a hard time when it came over here.
Oh, Irish did big time. The only reason Irish was accepted was because they became the police and civil servants of their generation.
Right.
So they earned respect, but they were not as part of the Anglo-Saxon, because they were Catholic. Again, there's a religious aspect to it. And so, that's what I'm saying, is like what we call white nowadays, again, still has a complex.
It's complex because they try to formulate it into like different nationalities or different origins of countries. So it's like, that's why I'm saying, like, now when you think of white, you just say, oh, they have a skin tone like you, oh, they're just white, right? But no one's gonna really get down to the specifics. They're just gonna say, oh, they're not gonna be like, well, Italians, because even behavioral traits, I know that, like Italians and Irish don't act the same as, let's say, someone who has German background or might be from England.
Yeah, Italians are passionate. The people from the Romantics, European Romantics is what they call it, like the Latin language and Latin linguistics. Mm-hmm. It actually influences culture. So they're more touchy-feely. Like my mother's family, I mean, you would make a pot of spaghetti for 15 fucking people because all the cousins would show up. But my German side of the family, no, you're cooking for yourself. I mean, you didn't hug, didn't kiss. My dad grew up without ever hearing the words "I love you," but he was, you know what he did hear? "I'm proud of you, son," because he's German, and the German work ethic. You get a job, you take care of your family. My dad being a parent, that was the proud moments of my grandfather. It was not "I love you, son." It was "You're a good man." But my mother's side of the family being Italian, oh my God, the brother, the son, my uncle, it was "I love you all the time." So that's what I mean. Like even in white culture, I mean, it's complex. And unfortunately, when we get into racial conversations, it's always us versus them. Where to me, it's not an us.
Wait. When you say us versus them,
like people will put like white people in one single category, and
that's why it's too complex than that. Yeah,
and I'm like, but do you know which white people you're talking about?
Yeah, it's just like when you go outside, right? And I can relate this to black people, sort of, right? Because, number one, they have black people. We don't know our history, right? So when we talk about black people, they'll just be like, "Oh, you're black." Like it's one time this white guy, like ignorant, like made an erroneous claim, right? So I was at an event or whatever. So he was like, there was this guy doing he was from Ghana. He was making a presentation on him being from Ghana. He's like, "Is this your culture?" And I was like, "No." He was like, "Oh, you're not Ghanaian?" I'm like, "No, I'm not Ghanaian. I'm a so-called African American." And he's like, he the look on his face, he looked embarrassed. Cause he was like, I thought you was Ghana. I was like, no, you have to recognize there's different sorts of black people. You have so-called African Americans, and why I say so-called is because Jesse Jackson popularized that term in 1988. We weren't called African Americans in the 1970s. We weren't. So that's why I say, and usually I refer to myself North American. I'll just say that. But you have African Americans, you have Africans, and even with Africans, you can't just label everybody African. Like you have Ethiopians, Eritreans, people from South Africa. Like Doja Cat is from South Africa, for example, right?
Yeah.
Tanzania. You have
Africa too, like Charlize Theron. That's what I mean.
Right. You know what I mean? And so you can't relate. Yeah. And this is where the nuisance come in. Because now, and this is the fault of Pan-Africans, Pan-Africans will try to mix in all African Americans into just being African. And I said, hold up, slow down.
Can you guys explain to me what you said? A Pan-African?
A Pan-African, yeah.
What? Can you give me like a? I've never heard that term before.
Okay, so have you ever seen someone like Umar Johnson?
Yeah.
Okay, so Umar Johnson would be considered a Pan-African. So basically, the rhetoric is we were taken from our homeland, and we were forced to be slaves on this land, and basically we survived the last 400, 500 years after slavery based off that. We was taken off those ships. So now everything is about going back to the motherland, going back to Africa, and blah, 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 blah. So
they're not, like a national identity is not American. They consider
they try, right. They say that we should see our identity as lost relatives of Africans.
Of Africa. Okay.
And I'm like, that's inaccurate because not everybody's history comes from Africa, right? So that's why I say I don't put myself in that category. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole like black culture around Caribbean, right? Like down here in Florida. Yeah. Like if you look at, like, you can go to Tampa History Museum and you'll see, even in the 1500s, you had very dark skinned. The problem is I don't want to use a label that's wrong. You know what I mean? So I'm being sensitive. But it's like basically black people that look like black Americans that were in the 14 and 1500s here in Florida that really migrated from the lower Caribbeans, right? Which we call the West Indies. They're not really India. That was a mislabel.
Yes, yeah,
but the idea being is that if you would have gone back in time today, they would resemble African, black Americans.
Yes.
But their history is erased. So the Tampa Museum actually does a really good job of kind of calibrating like what Florida actually used to look like. And it was not hillbilly white. It was very diverse with Spanish and Caribbean black influence. So that's why I said about when you were talking about Africans, and not everybody in America comes, like if you're in the South, you may have more genetic lineage from like Cuba, Turks and Caicos, like all of these.
And a lot of people don't understand that. Demetris, I did see what you say, so I'm gonna let you have the word after Blue Lion because he just jumped in. But I'm gonna say this real quick, and that's the thing that bugs me, right? So the thing about it is about black culture. Africans got their stuff, and then it's Caribbeans. But it's weird to have a fight with Caribbeans. Like Jamaicans are still affiliated with the Pan-African things because it's like so-called African Americans and Jamaicans are like damn near cousins. You know what I mean? Because there's always, when you think of African Americans, Jamaicans is like, oh, y'all with me too. And then there's Caribbeans that jump in, Haitians, and then Cubans, and then everybody else, right? So that's why even my homie, he's a Moor. He considers himself Moorish, right?
Yeah, Moorish. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he considered himself that. So we was having a conversation on that. I said, yo, the ignorance between Caribbeans and North American Negroes such as myself is stupid. Because we grow up around each other in the city. And even with Africans, y'all different, but y'all ain't really different. So it's like, that's the reason the Pan-African thing gets on my nerve. Because basically it's a way of saying, all you black people is just African. And it's like you're erasing all of the various histories that happen with black people that happen around the world. And you're trying to stigmatize the idea anybody who's melanated is just African. So I don't like that. So that's my whole thing on it. Blue Lion, get a word in, and then Demetris, whatever you got to say on the thing. Go ahead, bro.
Yo, what's up? It's been a long time, Brownsbird.
Yeah, man.
Yo.
Eric, you idiot. But yeah, Brownsburg. I've just been dealing with a lot lately, and I'm not gonna go into detail, of course, what I've been dealing with. You know, this whole fiesta I've been dealing with. I'm just not gonna bring it up, but yeah, it's been a lot of crazy stuff's been happening for me. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. But
you alright though?
I'm good. It's just been a lot dealing with, but I'm trying to ignore this nonsense and just move on because it's just certain people don't learn to just shut up and be quiet.
I get that. I'm sorry, I didn't want to misquote you were saying. Did you say breakup?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
No.
I didn't want to mistake that. Okay, my fault. But yeah, I get what you mean, bro.
Yeah. I'm just trying to be in peace. I can care less about this mess. What's going on with these folks with this other person? Just don't drag me into your foolishness. Because you're not achieving that. You're just destroying yourself. You make yourself look like a fool at the end. It is what it is. But before I came in here, Brownsburg, I was talking to a family member who contacted me earlier.
What happened with that?
Yeah, that's why y'all didn't see me in the comment section in a while. Period.
Oh no, it's cool. I said today I'm gonna be going on a break for 2 weeks off the powwow. So I'm taking my little break for a little bit. I'll probably just put up a couple of vids during the week, but yeah, I'm gonna take a little bit of break just because I want to.
I was like, you gave me a fucking heart attack. You're like, there's gonna be no more. I'm like, no. I'm like, please let there be more sanity panels on the damn. Like, I don't leave this panel feeling like I have post-traumatic stress syndrome, and I don't feel that way with Ms. Elite, but I have tried to venture out, and it is not fun. So
I get you. Nah, because I wanted to create that shock value. Because I was like, I ain't going nowhere, but I just wanted to test to see who was really going to say something.
Who's a real fan? Who's a real fan, right?
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to be like, oh, really? Oh, sad to hear that, bro.
Two channels. That's all I have in the entire 7.8 million fucking YouTube channels. I have two. That's all I have, guys. Please.
Yeah. So nah. I just wanted to see that. And I was like, Phoenix. I was like, okay, that's why I rocks you, Phoenix. I ain't going nowhere. I'm just taking a break. You know what I mean? So yeah, I definitely was gonna do that. But yeah, like it's you know, let's just say I'm gonna take a break real quick. But it's
still need to get up, and I think everyone on this panel will agree. You need to get at least put up a cash app. Like, let some people help, even if you just do cash app, because we are willing to support you. And when I say willing, that means me and anybody else who wants to follow in my footsteps. So there you go.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I got that in the works. Yeah. I'm not. Don't think for a second I'm procrastinating on that. No, I got.
No, I knew that. I'm just saying, like, don't leave. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not leaving. I'm coming back for sure. Just taking a break, like I said. Demetris, what's up, man? I know you wanted to talk about the. I read what you said in the private chat. So what was your thoughts on that?
So I don't know if you know this, but I went up again on Themis and Thought's panel.
Oh Lord.
And I'm not really gonna, they're doing the usual thing. And CK came up there.
Oh.
So I decided to, because I'd be on my troll account soft and wet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I decided to do is I tried to pretend to be fully on one side. We were talking about earlier on, picking sides, extremism, and everything. And what I found is they're very receptive when you present yourself as on their side. And it was kind of funny because the first time I came up there, they were like, okay, this dude is balanced. I like this guy. And then the second time I came up and I started out on their side and I was like, okay, let me try to show you how I think about things. And then I immediately got demonized. It was kind of like what Phoenix was saying earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't be a fence sitter with these people.
But you know what, Demetris, that's gonna happen when in any space, that is, right? So it's the same relative thing that's gonna happen in, say, the manosphere. First of all, as a woman, like when you come on there, you're already put on trial. because there are
Right.
certain men out there that's just kind of like, oh, we don't give a fuck what these women say and yah. But when you present yourself and you come across as saying, yes, I'm a pick-me, then the dudes start lightening up. They can be like, you gonna make me a sandwich? And they'll send in the super chats, or they'll sit up there and start flirting with the women on the panel, in the chat, because it's all about being on the side thing. It's like what you're saying, right? So that's a given. I know that was gonna happen, because imagine I started coming on there and I started talking more smooth. I was like, yeah, females, I agree with you, bro. I'm
He's
just
gonna
saying,
try to
us as
start
men,
having more dude panels though.
huh?
Famous.
He's gonna start having more men panels.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised as fuck. I'm surprised.
I completely understand where y'all coming from on that. I heard what y'all was talking about. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's nonsense, but at the same time, that guys flirting with these women and then donating. Like, what the hell are you gaining from? You ain't gaining shit.
Hey, look, listen. Maybe it's not necessarily incel behavior, like what I was talking about earlier, but just that idea of companionship. It can come in with idolizations too. Like if you have your favorite content creator and she's a woman and she's agreeing with the manosphere. Oh yeah. Like I'm sorry to mention names. I gotta mention this for sport. It's something like when I see Randy SoCal sitting up there putting up Jessica X's picture. And he's like, Jessica X is such a beautiful woman.
Is he
And he does the same shit. I think he is single. He does the same thing with Miss Elite, but then diss on Miss Elite and say, Miss Elite, you ugly bitch. And I'll just be like,
I'll be honest with you. That's the kind of bipolar behavior, though, I can't take, dude. Like,
yeah,
it's
it's really bipolar. Yeah.
It is bipolar. Like, one minute you're saying you're in love with someone, you want to be their girlfriend, you want to fly them out to California, and the next it's take away all your mods, be controlled, fuck you, and start screaming and like, you don't embarrass somebody on their own panel. Like, I don't care if you're a woman or a man. There's like a modicum of, you just came up on somebody's panel. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
and I know she does it to make him look like a fool. You know what I mean?
Well, but she's also nice. Miss Elite is nice. She does give people hands.
She's not nice.
Yes, she is.
She's not Phoenix.
I'll start, Bronzebird.
No, she's not, yo.
Yes.
She be roasting people. Don't.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. She's a content creator in a difficult space. I mean, let's just be honest, man. Like, if she probably showed what she shows offline, people would eat her alive. I mean, look how many trolls I have just because her and I, and how many people try to destroy our friendship just because we're two females in the space. Like, it's fucked up, dude. So
just like pure butterfly too.
That's what I'm getting at, is like, you kind of have to have a hard exterior and kind of find a way to sometimes, deal with it in your own way. And then people judge you for that shit. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's why I said I have two channels that I feel comfortable with, I feel are authentic. And let's be honest, Miss Elite, to me, in all fairness on that, some of the shit she does put up with in that chat is fucked up. Like, really fucked up.
She's strong for that. I'll admit that. She's strong.
Yeah. Because like I said, that's like sometimes when you even said, oh, I'll just troll. Like, Bronzebird, you've never violated. To me, you've never violated.
No, I never. That's what I told you.
Respectful. I mean, you might go back and banter and shit, but I never feel like you cross a line where you would like.
Nah, I never want to do that. It's contrary to popular belief. I'm actually very much. I still have a lot of gentleman qualities in me. I don't like to do that to women. I mean, I don't like to see it either, because I know I'll be talking shit about Miss Elite, but Miss Elite definitely is nice. You know what I'm saying? And I just be like, what the fuck?
She's very
how she have all these trolls?
Fucking forgiving, because there's people that have backstabbed her clearly over and over. And yet sometimes they'll be like, hey, let me come on my panel and fucking like explain myself. She still gives them the ability to do that 90% of the time until they finally get, it's just like, okay, we're done. But then people are like, you're a bitch. Why would you be like, at what point does somebody put up a boundary and say we're done? Like, I don't know.
Like, really though? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah. So I mean, on that odds, like, I know I'd be saying some shit, but I just be at the end of the day, it's all love and laughs. You know what I'm saying? Like I said,
I don't think you take it like you would never want her harm. Like,
nah.
But you have some people that like their trolling mechanism is scary. Like, it is fucking scary.
And it's like the inappropriate comments though. Like when it gets sexual, You know what I mean? Like it gets to that because I think even with you, Phoenix, when you be on a panel too, I'll be looking in the comment boards and they'll be saying some shit like some very like disturbing, very sexual stuff. If I say some sexual stuff on the panel, it's usually just related to PG-13. I don't.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you're set, I mean, like I obviously came on their panel that was an XX, and we, had a framework, and sometimes that's not a problem. But when you're saying stuff just to like say that shit, like that's the difference between men and boys, in my opinion. A man knows how to conduct himself at all times. To me, you get into that boyish bullshit, and it's like you're just showing yourself as a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
How are you gonna get a woman like that? Like, what woman's gonna like really legitimately? We're talking about men and women, right? We're talking about like dating. What kind of woman is ever gonna like see? You're talking about some of the content that, like you were just talking about, Bronzebird, without pulling it out directly. Do you really think a woman's gonna want to subject herself to a man that has the capacity to do that kind of shit?
Absolutely not.
No.
Forget it.
Because she knows that the minute that she does something wrong or he gets angry, who do you think's going to be the next target? Her.
The next woman, yeah. Her and whatever the next woman is.
And I say that back to men, too, is if you're around a woman that is willing to violate your privacy, violate your boundaries, treat you with disrespect in front of other men, like really hurt you without any sense of fucking modicum of respect, that's a woman that isn't worth it.
That's right. That's right.
And her ass deserves to be dumped, and she can go to somebody else because men deserve somebody who actually fucking respects them that way. Fuck that.
I agree. Enough said on that. Like, just, like I said, I mean, on that odds in particular, and it's not just related. I think just women that come into that space with men, I think it's pretty much it's kind of like directly shooting a shot, but in a very, very like nasty, like remote, like just like a very creepy way in my
creepy and cruel. Creepy and cruel is what it is.
And yeah, like it's like why you gotta say stuff like that? Now, if you say things like, "Oh yeah, Miss Alita, I think you're attractive, you're cute, and this, that, and third," okay, fine. But if then it's like, "Yeah, bitch, when I'm gonna see you, I'm gonna make sure I piss on you," or I say some crazy shit, and then like I think who is it, Joanne? I think her name is. Out here talking about how she gonna try to put a dildo up Miss Elite.
Yeah, but you know what? And that's what I'm saying. It's like women. That's what I'm saying. I am not judgmental on men and then say women get a pass. No, nobody gets a pass. Like, you're inappropriate at that level. You're sadistic. You're cruel. You're a fucking shitty person. Period of the story. And like I said, I get the same thing from Granny. She'll come into those chats and talk about my marriage and me being an adulteress and me deserve to get raped and killed and die. It's awful. Yeah. It's disrespectful to my husband. Now, my husband doesn't have a Google account. Like, my husband's very adamant about privacy. So it's not that he doesn't support me. It's just that he has boundaries himself about how he operates in the online environment. And because I respect him, I'm not going to force him to come and quote unquote defend me online when I don't need to be defended, because he's right here. He's literally right here. So if that gets translated into real life, then we're going to be a team.
It's going to be a shit.
But let's be honest, Bronzebird. Half these people that say that shit, they ain't going anywhere near it. You know what I mean? It's all talk.
Yeah.
It's all attention.
It's all look. And that's why when it comes to the internet, there's no filter. But in real life, it is a filter, because let's say, for instance, if that was my girl, you know what I'm saying? They saying all this shit online. I seen them out in the street, then it's an open hand slap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Because it's like you don't say stuff like that online, and that's why they don't have a filter. You can say whatever you want online, because it's not like, especially because we're talking behind avatars. You don't know what I look like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't know what my real life is like. So I can go ahead and say, "Oh, you a piece of shit. You a bitch. You a whore," and this, that, and the third, and I won't get reprimanded for it, because you don't know.
Yeah.
That information, my information is not gonna get leaked out.
Right, but
only if I put out my real name, or someone does the real dirty work on trying to dox me.
You're right, Bronzebird, but I will say this. This is something that I've always, when I get really mad, this is something I try to check myself on, because, being Italian, I could go there.
Oh, I know.
You saw like 10% of the Firebird. You didn't see all of it because my husband was like grabbing my shoulders, like, it's okay, breathe. But I also remember, like, I have to remember things are being recorded. Even though you don't know me, I still care about my reputation. I still care about how you perceive me. And so I do try to like say, okay, is this worth me putting something out there that I may come to regret a couple of weeks or even a couple of days later, right? Like
emotional intelligence, yeah.
Yeah, because even if they don't dox me, I still kind of have to live with the recording. I still have to remember that I did that. And was it fucking worth it? To your point, I'm talking to an avatar. I'm still talking to a person. But what they could be saying to me, like Jose. Jose got under my skin one time when he talks about my voice in that situation, my cancer scare. And I realized I cracked. Like, it was really emotionally, like I was near tears. Like, it really hurt me. And then I had to stop myself. Like, I don't know Jose.
Yeah.
I don't know him. Like, he's just saying shit.
He's just saying shit. He's a troll.
And I'm trying to be like the bigger person here of like, okay, he probably didn't know. I shouldn't take it out on him. But at the same time, also people also need to recognize that sometimes their trolling behavior, you may hit something that is a nerve. And if you get your ass reamed about it, well, you kind of hit a nerve, right? So,
yeah. Because it affected you in some type of way. It's like when Arya got at me about some fucking story I talked about like a while ago. He was like, yeah, you almost got beat by a woman. And it's like, yo, that wasn't the story, bro.
Yeah, well, he makes everything. So
yeah, you made that shit up. That's not how
the story.
Yeah,
he makes up everything. So
yeah, he do. And it's and I ain't gonna lie, I get my kicks off roasting him because I know he ain't gonna really try to diss back. Like he'll get mad and be like, "That's why you a bitch, Bronzebird."
Yeah, and that's the whole point. Is like he knows that he gets attention. That's where some people just really need attention.
Yeah.
And as much as he says he doesn't like Mislead, he doesn't like me, he doesn't like
he likes y'all.
He has to like enough of the attention that he's getting.
He likes y'all. And you know what? And the thing about that it is too though, then you got Granny. I ain't gonna lie, Phoenix, I know we talked about this earlier, but like I'm sorry. She had a Karen moment when it came to me though.
She did? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you was there.
Wait, which one? Which are you talking about in the chat?
No, it was in the chat.
Okay, I thought you were on a panel. I was
No. I think she came on a panel like once or twice.
She came on a panel with me where I actually tried to take her defense. Like I tried to sit down and understand her. I tried to understand some of the Stockholm syndrome, unfortunately, patient kind of style that she has. No, I mean that in like not a cool way. I mean like she really does have kind of an abused woman victim mindset. She apologized for something she should never apologize.
Because you know what happened in the chat? She accused me of sexual harassment. You was defending me like
that's okay. So now I know which one you're talking about. Yep. That was not on a panel. That was in the chat.
Yeah, it was in the chat. It was like, yeah, Bronzebird wasn't saying all that. It was like, yeah, I wasn't. Like I was just joking. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And she took offense to that. It was like,
well, she's also doesn't. She tries to separate. Again, it's Stockholm syndrome patient. She's going to defend her Lord and Master, and she has that person as the same thing with the other one, who I don't like to mention the J name. They have psychological like loyalty that doesn't make sense. Like I don't know.
It's weird.
If you really hate something, don't go on its channels. Don't go on its panels. Don't go near stuff. Like
that's what I say. Yeah.
Like that's why I said I've ventured out of these little 2 channels and I've been sorely disappointed. And so you know what I do? I don't go anywhere else. That's what I'm gonna do. So.
Yeah.
Because it's my decision. Like, why would I go somewhere to be miserable? It's fucking stupid.
Where you are liable to, get all upset or just like be like, displeased with what's being said. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I totally get that, Phoenix. And I thought she was rising out those ashes many a time.
Well, and that's something that actually has, and you as well, like, and actually Lonely too. There's been a couple times Lonely's had to check me. But, sometimes all of you guys are doing a really good job reminding, like, this is online. People are assholes. To your point, they say shit they would never say to you in real life. It's okay. It'll pass.
It's going to be the same old bullshit. But, I mean, yeah, that's why I just be like, yeah, whatever. And that's why I had to learn, too. I was just like, look, I don't even really be mad. Because it's not like I log off StreamYard or I'll be on somebody else's panel and be like, that son of a bitch. You know what I'm saying? But I learned, like, you know what? I ain't really feeling your style. I ain't really feeling your steez. I don't rock with you. So I ain't going to come on the panel while you on panel. Or I'm just not going to address you. You know what I'm saying? That's
Mhm.
just my whole entire viewpoint, because it's just like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? Like, all the attacks is for what, though? Like, you know what I mean? Because, like, what is it? I have to bring this up as an example. Like, when me and Raven was beefing, I said the only reason I responded to Raven is because if you felt some type of way on a panel, you was on my powwow, you could have talked to me about that shit. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have to go on somebody else's panel and talk about, yo, Bronze is da 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 da. And then, like, you know, I come on, I'll be like, what's your problem? You know, it's all this other stuff. And it wasn't about me actually saying, catch a flight out here so I can beat your ass.
Yeah.
It was to test him. I just wanted to see if he was going to really go that far to be upset with me like he really wanted to fight. Because if you're saying words like punk and this, that, and the third, then
those are aggressive terminology. That's the trigger. I mean, like, I totally understand it.
That's all it was. And I mean, that's how I see fit. But I mean, I ain't talking down on dude, but it's just, that was just the whole point of why I did that. But you know, you always get your whole entire bundles of the bunch dudes that just cannot control their emotions on camera.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I find so funny, though, is that some of those men, and I'm not going to call out anyone by name, but some of those men that will dog the shit out of women about being too emotional, too sensitive, are exhibiting
the same
extremely
traits.
fucking emotionally triggered fucking expression. And I'm sitting there sometimes listening to it like, what you are doing is the one thing you just said women do that you can't stand.
Exactly.
What the fuck? Like, and I don't want to put down other women. I don't want to put down women. So I'm like, but you're acting like a woman. Like, sometimes I think I have sisters up in this motherfucker. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Avatar sisters.
To be the man. Like, I shouldn't have to trigger that quickly. Like, that's not, you know, like, if you're the big man that you say you are, and I'm just the lowly woman, then what I say shouldn't cause you such emotional distress.
Average at best type of steez.
Yeah. Something that's like, blow the fucking basket. I'm just
like
and then they yell at me, and I'm like, do you know what you wrote in the chat, y'all? Like, could you handle if we talked about this shit in reverse and you were in my shoes for a minute?
Yeah.
No, you couldn't. So, you know, take your Midol, you know, get a goddamn water bottle on your titties, and call us when you're done with your male menopause. Right? You know, it's like...
Yeah, when you're off your 7-day cycle. So.
Yeah, because people joke about that with women. Like, oh, you're on your cycle. Men...
Yeah.
You have to admit this. You've seen these on the YouTube streets.
Not even on the YouTube streets, in real life. You're like, oh, you're on your cycle.
Yeah. I don't know if they're...
PMSing. That's what they say, you PMSing. Yeah.
Yeah, so... But it's awful, you know?
Yeah.
But I will tell you this. The last thing about the last kind of situation that you mentioned, you can, and you've seen this with running your own panels, especially now that you've done several of the powwows, you can definitely tell a flavor difference when you get certain people up that are looking for, again, they're kind of feeding off drama. And when there's good conversation or there isn't like a negative experience, you almost feel like they have to provoke it because that's what they're used to. It's what they want. It's like what
I definitely watch it. You know?
Yeah. And
like, it's not like I sit in a panel. Like, I just like to analyze sometimes behaviors. So it's like I'll be listening. If I know a particular person starts drama, like, I just wait. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to mention his name, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I knew the conversation was going to come in about either race or about the Bible, being a Bible thumper. I knew that conversation was going to come in. I was just waiting. And I was just like, I'm waiting because I know what's going to happen. So that's why I say I just analyze. I say, yeah, just come to the powwow. Come to the powwow.
Yeah.
But I know particular people, particular content creators, or whoever it is, if they come to the powwow, I know exactly where they're going to go. Yeah. I just have to wait for it. I literally think to myself, I'm not surprised by certain people. Yeah. I'm not. Because I know exactly what they're going to say.
Like, I feel like I've known you guys a year. I was telling this to Miss Elite. I actually tracked, like, the first live stream I sat on. It was, like, this is August 1st. It was, like, the first week of August. So I'm at a year knowing you guys, like, virtually, obviously. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting because, yes, I feel like I've softened. I've got a little bit better at mocking myself. I've obviously shown off my various body parts that everybody likes to put down. As a like, fuck it, you know, if you're going to talk about certain aspects of my life, well, let's really talk about what they really look like. But my point kind of being is like, I feel like I've taken myself less serious, but consistently, I don't feel like I've ever put myself in a position that I'm embarrassed. And that's important to me. Like, I don't feel like I have to stand here and feel like I've embarrassed myself. And that's what I'm kind of getting at. Like, if I come up on a panel, I take this serious. I'm not here to create an environment, because you're the content creator, not me. It's like, I've got to hold myself with a certain level of like, look, I'm representing your channel. So yeah, I may have gone Firebird every once in a while, Miss Elite, but I do feel like I can hold my head high. Like, even with everything that came at me, I did not embarrass.
Now, you injured yourself in a couple of situations. I do applaud you on that. You know, and anytime I felt like, like Phoenix, just chill out, bro. I got this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I definitely make sure to just be like, Phoenix, don't even entertain that shit. You know what I mean? So I definitely get it. You know what I mean?
Well, and it's good that I can trust that. That's what I'm saying about female-male dynamics is like I said, my husband is, he's definitely here, but he's not going to come into the online space and create a privacy issue for himself, or violate a privacy issue for himself. But like, we talk all the time about like, hey, I've got men around, like actual men around me versus just nothing but boys that I have to feel constantly violated. So I can trust when like someone's like you, like, hey, I got this, like it's all right. And that's important because again, as a woman in these spaces, like Eric can even attest to this too on some of his experiences that he's had. Like, you don't know what you're gonna fucking get. You don't know what you're gonna get. So you gotta have people around you that's part of a crew, like part of people that you could actually trust aren't gonna just turn on. Because that's surprising to me. Like when you start to develop like online kind of cohesion with groups, and then suddenly out of the blue they just start attacking you. Like that's not, that kind of environment. It throws you through a fucking loop, dude. You're like, what did I do? And to your point, why didn't you take it offline with me? Why did you bring it on a panel of 15 fucking people? Now this is awkward. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, it is bullshit. But yeah, I'm about to close down. I'm about to settle into my 2-week break.
Yeah. Okay. Well, wherever vacation you're going, amazing. I hope you have a great time, Eric.
Thanks.
It's always good to collaborate. Dimitri, I know he had to go.
All right.
Yeah, Eric, you're awesome. I always like to.
Thanks.
Appreciate you, Phoenix, as always.
Oh yeah. And like I said, when you get back, let us know. Hopefully you'll have Cash App set up. Hint. And you better not fucking disappear with me because like I said, we're getting into the fall and shit. There's some really good topics. I know that you have already mentioned. I'm excited. Even if I'm not on the panel, I'm excited of like hearing people and like definitely collaborating.
Well, yeah, listen, the way that I work, whether it be here on the YouTube sphere or real life, people always know me for having a bunch of ideas and topics. They come to me and they ask me. So I never really run out of stuff to talk about, So I mean, yeah, for sure. But yeah, I'm gonna get my 2-week vacation on and stuff.
Yeah,
like
good.
That.
Enjoy.
Really appreciate you a lot.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Well, like I said, enjoy, and I'll see you see you guys in 2 weeks. All right.
Right.
Bye.
Later. All right.
Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you gonna go by Goten now? Is that gonna be mainly your YouTube channel?
Temporarily.
So can you get your other channel back?
Yeah, because I'm gonna get it back in October, is what I had heard from both J-Man and Arthur.
Okay.
Because my data is still there.
Well, did it say? Wait a minute. Did it say that you're gonna get it back in October?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's what I heard from them.
From YouTube, they say you'll get your joint back in October.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, bro, did you check the email?
I need to check the email.
Yeah, check the email before you know what I mean? So, yeah, man. Last words, bro, because I'm gonna max out.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to be on this dude's panel because my name was being mentioned. I said I try to be I was trying to be a nice nigga. I try to be a polite nigga. Got booted out, never came back. Because they kept mentioning me. One said he's going to do a storyline of me and stuff.
You're talking about
And
who I think you're talking about, right? As terms of Spanish.
yeah,
Okay.
Then I kept going on. I said, happy birthday, baby girl, you beautiful baby. Bam.
Damn.
You know, the show the disrespect because they keep mentioning me. So I promised not to go in, but I did. But it would be the last.
Make sure you have self-control on that.
Yes, self-control. Self-control is important. And speaking of self-control, I understand, you know, that I think I see why, and I understand what Phoenix is talking about. I really do. I really do, because it'd be it'd be like, because when they on the panel, people be talking over each other. People drink. People, I don't see them smoke, but they get their drink on and stuff. And that's what Big J was talking about. Mm-hmm. That's what they do over people. Because I heard it all. I saw it all. Because they was talking about that sicko. And I'm going to be on this other guy's panel and talk about how he is and stuff, because this dude is not right in the head. This dude has autism and stuff, but the dude lied and he admit, but they didn't get on him. But the one guy had got on him, and the girl had said about not talking to him like that and stuff, about the disrespect. She felt some type of way. Like the dude had been mocking me, Malik, Omega Deku. The dude had lied and we're out people. He had problems with his mother. I had the same thing too. I dealt with the same thing, but his is a lot worse, because it was this girl that contacted his mom, and he took the mom's phone and blocked her on his mom's account. Then he also had beat his mom. He forced his girlfriend. He had abused his daughter. I said this on a source panel last night on my 32nd birthday. This dude is not, and like, he's not all fair. This dude had abused animals. I never had abused my ex-girlfriend's cats. I never abused my sister's dogs. She used to have a big black dog, kind of like a pit bull, but they gave it away. But I was like playing with her other dog, I don't know, I forgot what type of dog it is. I, hold her, play, rubbing her, even though she'd be licking me and stuff, and she'd be barking and start playing. She don't even bite. That dog ain't me. I did hug them and stuff, but I never had break their arm. No, I never break their legs or leave them outside all night. It never starved them to death. I mean, even though I have pets and stuff. But how you forgive someone that did something to his own daughter? Like, he's not welcome on my panel. Like, you gotta be careful who you have on your panel, because that guy can bring in everybody. Like on my panel, I just want it to be, it could be non-blacks. There's nothing wrong with it, but I want it to be mostly blacks than non-blacks. That's the way it's gonna be. Like I can't have no white supremacists on my panel. They're not welcome. But the other channel I did, and I banned a few. Like this not gonna happen. It's gonna be the last. Cause it's no connection, it's no chemistry. All it is, to me, is gonna be a lot of fighting. They're gonna bring up stuff, the confrontation and stuff. Cause I do that too. Like they not gonna they're gonna say the same thing. They gonna keep bringing up the past. They can't move this to a next topic. Like, can we talk about something else instead of bringing up the past and stuff? Why you kept going on with it? Like, can we just talk about wrestling, or can we talk about what's going on in the world today and stuff? And speaking of what's going on in the world today, Kirk Franklin, Bishop T.D. Jakes, they not who they think they really are. And also the gospel industry. The gospel industry, what I had discovered when I was watching Real Conspiracy is that that they sold their souls to the Baphomet. It's not really God at all. Like they really do that. I saw T.D. Jakes throwing up the okay hand gestures, you know, the 666.
Yeah.
I saw Kirk Franklin had pink lipstick and wore a skirt. Kirk Franklin had cut his son out, and I took the son's side.
Well, you have to understand, like, if you're in the entertainment industry anyway, at the end of the day, you will become neutralized to that point. That's why I'm not really. And we already questioned Kirk Franklin for a couple of years, so for him to kind of come out with that, it's just kind of like, you know, we all know that they do stuff behind closed doors, and you know, they might not be the perceived sexuality that they are. So, I mean, that's what it's all about. But yeah, that's what I see, man.
Right. And also about Christianity is whitewashed.
Christianity is whitewashed?
Yeah. How I notice is they use you know, Moses and Pharaoh. You seen the movie, right?
What movie?
Because my mom had watched the movie many times when I was a child to today.
What movie?
The movie, I think it took place in Egypt.
Prince of
And
Egypt?
yeah, and I did not notice until years later, and in the movie Jeremiah, that what they doing is whitewash it and full with white lies. That's shocking. Like they put the prophets as white folks, but the real ones, the originals, the officials, are blacks / Africans. I mean, Moors, you know, indigenous. Noah wasn't no white man. Noah looked like he's white, but he's not really white. He's black. He's an albino with woolly hair, white as snow. Jesus is a black man. He's not white. That guy that looked like that thinks that's Jesus, that's Desiree Bowles. We already know who Desiree Bowles is. It's the big Doberman told me. You know, it's like these Christian Bibles, and same thing with the Catholics, Methodists, um, any whitewashing religions are full with white lies, and they like spin the narrative, make it as their own. And I see why I can't go to no Christian church or no Methodist, Lutheran, Pentecostal, Catholic churches. Because all it is with white lies. The preachers, the pastors, and the bishops, they're not going to tell you the real thing. They're going to go by the whitewashing Bible. And that's, huh?
Well, I get you on that. I'm about to jump off because I gotta go ahead and handle some things as usual. But bro, let's actually chop it up with this conversation. I wish you would have came around for my panel, dimensional atmosphere, because we was talking about religion. So you should have been there for that.
Dang.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure probably in the future I'm gonna try to. Good luck, Cesar. I'm gonna try to make a conversation about religion in general, so that we all can get a perspective on that, because it's a lot that goes into that. So I mean, ideologies, all these different things, man. So I'm gonna definitely make sure that I put that on tab for my next powwows and stuff like that. So yeah, man.
Exactly.
Thanks for coming, bro. Cause I gotta get up out of here soon. But,
no
thanks for
problem.
coming,
What's up,
man.
Asor? It's a pleasure.
Appreciate you, man. And hopefully you get your YouTube page back.
All right.
All right. Have a good one, man.
All right. Has that for the culture. Later.
For the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know what it is, folks. Bronzebird with another successful powwow. Thanks to everybody who's joined the powwow, came on the powwow, gave discussions. Shout outs to my man's Eric. Shout outs to everybody in the chat. Shout outs to everybody who came through tonight and previous powwows. As it's been noted, I will be taking a 2-week break from the Brownstone Powwow, possibly panels in general. I'll probably be making a couple of videos here and there, but I'm probably just gonna be doing videos only. So don't be surprised if you don't really see Bronzebird around for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be out. So just know I'll be back. I'm not going forever. It's not gonna be a hiatus or something like that. You gotta wonder back. Just if you're paying attention to the Brownstone Powwow, Bronzebird is taking a break. I'm gonna fly out somewhere. I'm gonna go to another nest and see another places of birds. You understand? So thank you for everybody who supported. Appreciate you guys. Every time you come on this panel, you guys make me happy. You know, I don't care if I get 2 viewers, 5 viewers. Hopefully, you know, within the next streams that I make, I can get up to 12 or 13 watching, 17 and all that. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to grow this page. So all those that's out there listening, all the cloud watchers, all the bird watchers, birds out there, other people, other avatars, you understand? Thank you so much for your contributions. Thank you for coming. And I'll see you next time for the Brownstone Powwow. And we'll talk about some more issues. All right? Peace.